free this time, so I don't get a copyright strike. As you know or don't know, I am having a year of stuff between Eden and Fortresscraft 2. And I probably should have changed the subject. Games programming, games development. Games develop. And this is one of the things I wanted to do. Try to work out what category should be in Twitch. I could just call it under development. They're not software and game development. There we go. It says I'm offline. Am I offline? Restream's live. Anyway, I had an idea for a thing that I wanted to have a go at. I haven't started it yet, so this will be completely from scratch. I just slightly rearrange my windows because I currently have it set up for me, but obviously you want to see a bit more. And I realise I'm going to answer the question, what you doing, constantly, so I won't just say it now. I'll just get on with it. But basically, I want to do some stuff. We can set 5 things. But normally I run on 2 monitors, you see, so I need to put more stuff on this monitor. Okay, so we're gonna want some I'm probably going to want the hierarchy on the screen too. I'm working on one screen. I need to stream on 2 screens, like 2 streams at once. I'm not saying Unity's got slower, by the way, but all right. One R, 2 L's. No, 2 R's, 1 L. 2 R's, 1 L. I need a mnemonic to remember that. I really do. Probably announce this as well. I keep meaning to. I'm very bad at doing this. Announcements. Well, the first thing I've realised is I've got... Oh, no, I was going to say, I thought I got my scale well off, but apparently not too bad. So, yeah, well, because, as you know, we've been doing these nightly streams. So if you've not come along to the nightly streams, do come along. They're a lot of fun. And in it, we try and play a big variety of games. And that's actually quite important, because it means I get to... Put the hierarchy down here. So I get to play games I wouldn't normally play, and that's important because I don't play enough games. And playing games in the evening forces me to play games I wouldn't normally play. And sometimes I find some brilliant games, sometimes not so much. I'm curious, by the way, will a capsule collider not just fall over? Right. Yeah, absolutely will. Why would you give me that kind of collide, you silly game? Right. We'll do a quick mesh collider. So what I want is I want an object to be burnable. And I will eventually do graphics to show that it's burning. But a burnable object will be able to burn for a while. It will set other things nearby on fire. And yeah, it will explode and some such later on. So we want a average burn time. And we'll say temp. And then we've got the ignition. I can't even type. What's it? Max ignition. Oh dear, this ignition's a word I can't type. It just works out. Hello, Deltron, and hello, Maya, and hello, Henry. Oh, I should really be in the live stream channel. I do mean to be. So we want, man, is there a word for unignited? I can't type unignited. I can't type ignited. Burning. Burns out. So when we ignite, if M state not equal to unignited, turn. So our, I don't want to burn time left. But yeah, I had this idea, and I think it'd be quite interesting. Right, like really could be really quite not fun necessarily to watch because it is stuff burning. But we, as human beings, we do like stuff burning, and it's a thing that we do very much enjoy, especially if it burns with pretty graphics, and pretty graphics are important. Stagnant, sobering, That's a real word? Sobering is not a word. Slumbering. Well, slumbering just means sleeping. I hope the music doesn't offend, by the way. I've had to basically find royalty-free music that I don't mind listening to, and I've completely lost where it's coming from. I was like, oh, I just want to... There we go.
What are you up to in here then?
I'm working.
Oh, okay.
Do you not see the stream go up? Do you not follow me on YouTube?
Not really. I just tend to open it in the evening when you're streaming.
Well.
What are you making?
I had an idea for something.
Oh no. Is this not the lawnmower thing?
No, I quite like the lawnmower idea. No, I wanted to do a... Do you remember we played Ember on the stream? And the problem with Ember is the goal of the game is to steal as much stuff from the house before the house burns down. But you can put the house out, but it's a completely Sisyphean task. You definitely will lose. But the problem is that Max kept trying to put the fire out. And it's like, I want to put the fire out. That's not the game. The game just goes, look, stop it. You've got to steal stuff under the guise of the fire. So I thought I would write a little fire simulation this afternoon. Because it's been rattling around in my head.
I like the idea. I'm trying to think, like... So you just sort of run around manically grabbing stuff, essentially, or...?
No, you've got to put the fire out in this case, but I was going to write a fire simulation.
Oh, okay.
So in Ember, the goal was you had to basically keep the fire under control and steal as much from the house as you could, which was kind of funny, but the gimmick wore off quite quickly. Unfortunately.
It reminds me a bit of... I can't remember what the name of the game was. It might have been like... I think it was like called 60 Seconds or something, and it was like a... You run around the house at the start of the game collecting stuff for a nuclear apocalypse, and you have to choose what you take with you.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
I'll have to find it for you. That one's interesting. It's a bit more to it than just the collecting stuff, because afterwards you're like using what you collected at the start and seeing how long you can survive. But
yeah, no, I mean in this case it was. I want to release a VR game and I want to release a multiplayer game, and I keep getting sidetracked. And you're obviously busy with the. Your project at the minute, so the Dungeon Defenders clones just waiting. Was waiting on you mostly.
Yeah, Yeah.
I've got a whole bunch of other projects that I'm waiting on other people for, so I thought I will give this a go. Because I did start... Oh. Did that
What
work?
happened to the Sub Commander one? Wasn't that a multiplayer VR thing?
I couldn't make it fun. I mean, that's the thing about games. Sometimes you really can't.
You can't execute on the concept.
Like not necessarily. Hang on, I'll come back to that in just 2 seconds. Phonic. Was there any text to speech? Because I didn't get it. If so. Yeah. So on the other day, I was on the Burnout Reddit, and someone posted a video, and I was like, oh, I remember that video. Where is it? So but basically there's been some, what's the word? Videos that PowerPoint shut down. Yeah, here we go. So this was one of the things from Burnout that didn't make it in. And it's so cool. It's so cool. So idea is that you do a power boost and you can smash the roadway up so badly that on your next lap there is a really cool, there's like a proper roadblock. So on your next lap, as you see here, what you see, if I just pause it there, you actually get to see the roadblock. And the idea was that on your next lap you'd have to dodge the roadblock. So the buildings will collapse, there's fire engines everywhere. It's such a cool idea that didn't work. Without exception, everyone would plough into the roadblock going, that wasn't their last lap. How's it going? So yeah, sometimes the game concept works. So that wasn't Subcommand. It's a different game. That's a different game for it. But that's the one I've reused the assets for. But Shauka is correct. Super chats are actually just expensive text to speech. Right. I see what this thing.
I wonder if any of the stream plugins read out super chats or not, or if it's only for the Twitch stuff.
I don't know.
No, I was gonna say is that thing you just showed in the video of
Yeah.
I get the feeling that would probably work a bit better in one of those like more open world racing games where you're like street racing kind of thing, and like maybe like you get like a radio chatter in the background that says, "Oh, this part of the road's been blocked off."
Yeah.
But even then, yeah.
The point is, if I describe that to you, you go, "Oh, that's a cool idea. Oh, I like it. That's a super cool idea." Yeah. Then you try it going, yeah. And remember, we tried it for a lot of time. So we really, really, really tried very hard to make it work, and we couldn't. And so, yeah, Sub Commander was a game where initially you had a big rock crawling machine that dries forever, and it's going along the seabed, and you have to keep giving it the resources it needs to progress, whatever it needs. And so the players had to fly out, pick up the resources, and bring it back, and it, basically do mining. And then the sub driver actually got to see all the subs in VR on a hologram, but only he could see the resources, so he had to direct people to the resources. The problem was I just couldn't make it compelling. It's a good concept, and if I were to throw enough polish at it, it'd probably be all right. But that's one of the issues with writing games. Sometimes it's like, yeah, this doesn't really.
Yeah. Sometimes it's better to start with a really good gameplay loop and explain it from there rather than the other way around.
Yes, or you base the entire game around a gimmick, which is. So I've said we've been playing. What's it called? What's that game?
Ember?
No, Power Wash Simulator. That's just a gimmick.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a gimmick. It's got a really cool way of washing grime off, and it's brilliant, and I love it, and it's absolutely brilliant. And it's a
concept done really well, basically.
Yeah, but I've played it now for 16 hours, so I've got my money's worth because it was 15 quid. It's thoroughly brilliant. It is a really, really, really relaxing game. I really look forward to playing it tomorrow night. And I really like Visceral Cleanup Detail, which is the same thing. It's the whole Visceral Cleanup Detail had the very rare, beautiful combination of a great gimmick and a brilliant setting. So the setting in Visceral Cleanup Detail is you're the guy who goes around first-person shooter levels and cleans them up after the player's been. So you're picking up dead people, bits of bodies, bullet casings, dismembered aliens. You're cleaning off all the scorch marks, which is a great gimmick. It's brilliant, and it's a pretty good game to boot. And it's got that great gimmick. So it's interesting. It's a whole bunch of things come together, and this I think is a good gimmick. We're in full HDRP, so we should have all the shiny fancy graphics.
Woo! Volumetric lighting.
Yes. So Treatment Tree. Remember, Split Second was mostly Burnout developers, so we revisited the idea, or they've revisited the idea. Actually, let's. Yeah, volumetric lighting. Right, so that should take that much time to get to full temperature.
I wonder if you could.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I wonder if you could take that visceral cleanup detail idea and apply that to different settings as well. Like, what if you took it and like went, okay, you're playing as a medic in a battlefield in like a Call of Duty game. You're essentially playing like Surgeon Simulator while trying not to get shot at that point.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really liked the concept of it was really cool, and it was very well done. So, you know, you were, and you had to like respot all of the data pads the player would play. So it was like the behind the scenes of first-person shooter. I'll be honest, they didn't do that good a job most of the time. Most of the levels, they weren't that clever, but a couple of them, they really led very deeply into the your setting first-person shooter thing.
Yeah.
Schalke, if I could define what is a good game, then I would be incredibly rich. If I could make games that are fun, I would be mind-blowingly rich, but I'm not, because no one knows what makes a fun game. No one can guarantee a good product at the end of it. That's the sad state of the reality of games.
I guess conversely as well, you can make the best game in the world, but with no marketing and no traction behind it, it still won't do well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've all played great games that no one's ever heard of. I mean, Fortresscraft is one of those. You know, people go, "Oh, I can't believe this game didn't sell well. It's really good." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." You know. Right, so I am quite good at putting together little useful collections, and I need the function to draw text above stuff. I'm pretty sure I shoved it into extensions in Future Defenders. It's either useful or utility.
I was thinking about this the other night. I need to make like a folder that's just full of random scripts that I keep reusing.
Yeah, I do that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of developers will tell you they just write stuff they think is fun, and they, you know, this game they're really passionate about. But you and I at Shaka, we have played a long. Wait, hold on. No, you're right. That should be capital O. I apologise. You and I played a lot of games. Now, would you say that a lot of those games, the developers really love them? Because they don't. They obviously don't. For a huge majority of games, it's a job. It's not a game they really love. They're not playing it because they really can't wait to get people to play this, whatever. It is very much a job. I mean, I'd say that like Terraria. I'd say the devs really love that game because, you know, you can feel they do. Whereas I think, you know, I
think for Terraria it's more obvious because, like, while it does bring in more sales if there's updates, they're probably not making that much more now when they're updating it. So I think like most people own the game.
Bear in mind, but the Terraria devs stopped work on it a very long time ago.
Oh yeah, it's Relogic now, isn't it? I guess.
It's 505.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so a lot of the games that I have written in my career, I would not play as a dev. Like, one of the most successful games I've written I wouldn't play, which is Amputee. I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. I think it's awful. It's definitely not my cup of tea. And yet, that's one of my most populars. Oh man. I'm gonna have to spend a minute now trying to remember where the hell I have put this. Is it draw text? Render text? Text at? But yeah, I have all my useful functions. Draw debug arrows, get formatted numbers. Search within a thing. Yeah, debug functions.
Debug functions are great.
The debug draw. Hey, there we go. This draws a string in the world. Okay, so on GUI. Just.
Are you just using standard Unity text, or are you using like Text Mesh Pro or something?
No, this is debug text. That would just be.
Oh right, okay. So then, yeah.
But in theory, hopefully now, if I run the game, it should draw some text above that barrel. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I mean, for a lot of games, the idea is you write a game that is going to sell. You don't write a game that you think is.
What if you make this fire game like a PvP game where one team is the arsonists?
Well, no, I mean, the thing is, so I will almost definitely never write a PvP indie game. It's one of the things I tell to people, don't write. Werewolf then is the prime example. Games that are co-op is fine because you can play it by yourself, but the more of you, the better. And yeah. But yeah, versus is it as a game mode, sure. I was expecting to see some text. Can I see it in there?
I do think versus modes tend to work a lot better when for indie games when it's like a 1v1 or something. Because as soon as it's teams, you're like super reliant on number of players.
Yes.
I mean,
why is that not displaying anything? I love this. I am only running one copy of Unity, by the way. And Unity goes, hey, which instance do you want to attach to? Let's guess this one. Oh, I could guess. But even the original Projector games, for every 2 games I put up, I prototyped 20. Oh, did I attach the Burnables script to this barrel?
Oh, have you seen that stream of Heathrow Airport in the storm? It's got like 250,000 people watching it.
I have watched it before. Not this one. Hey, this is a rerun. Yeah, I've watched them before, and it's horrifying. I love the way we knew the storm was coming. We're like, yeah, we'll keep running them. Now, I've mentioned this before. If I could upgrade my PC, I would. There is not a lot of upgrading left in this computer. I'm waiting for DDR5 and the new 13th series of Intel CPUs. But like now, I've waited half a minute because I'm waiting for... I don't know.
Random loading bar. What is it waiting for?
It may have been this. State unignited. Position is something valid. What? Why is it? Huh? Thank you. Oh, I think it... Current view drawing scene is null. Do we actually use the view? Yeah. Okay. What is going on with my capture card? For heaven's sake, I'm not even going full screen. Great.
Oh yeah.
I can't minimize anything anymore either. What is my refresh rate? 60. Yeah, I mean, it's a high refresh rate monitor. I don't know why, but if I go full screen, I come back. This is working now. I don't know. It's really odd. It's a dedicated, reasonably high-end capture card. Scene view. Current scene view. Public static view. Scene view. Description: the scene view that is being drawn. Maybe this is inside gizmos, not. That string. I should hopefully find wherever I copied this from in the first place. There it is. Is it maybe the 12th gen? I thought it was 13th. I thought 12th were out. Basically, it's the ones with DDR5. I only need to upgrade my computer again because I don't want to wait. I noticed what I typed in is not what has appeared. It's similar to what's appeared. I want that.
That's not good enough though.
Exact string. Yeah, here we go. Oh, it's on draw gizmos. That'd be why, not. So view is null. Probably. Log warning. Call from. Done anything, and I've specifically not routed the cables past anything. I do mean to rearrange my room. I want to put the actual rig I use closer to have a very short capture card. Very short cable. Yeah, no, it's Raptor Lake, the 13th gen. That's the one. It's the one that's coming out. My PC is still good, but when there we go. So when I have to wait, you see, that sucks. Like waiting, I hate waiting. Right, let's just make that into a prefab. That'd be a Burnables. But the idea is, I should be able to make one but burn, and then it will get hot. And if the thing nearby enough gets hot enough, it will, it will, yeah, catch. But basically, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait ever on my computer. When I wait here, 3, 4, that's 4 seconds. That means every time I make a single line of code change, it's 4 seconds. So every 10 times, I've lost a minute.
Adds up.
Every 360 times, I've lost an hour. If an hour of my time is worth 50 quid, it does not take long before upgrading my computer works. Yay, it's burning. See, it has the word burning over it.
Now, does it burn in Fahrenheit or Celsius?
Celsius. It'll all be Celsius because I'm British. I say that. I was chatting with a young person yesterday.
A young person.
A young person. He's about 30. I chat with a young person, and this strange man we were talking about motorbikes, and how fast they went. He said, because I said that the bike only went to 180. He goes, well, he thought they were a lot faster. He thought they were as fast as 400. And I'm like, what? No, miles an hour. But he was working in kilometers. I know.
To be honest, I prefer kilometers, but none of the signage in the UK uses it, so.
I know. As I said, in the UK, we drive in miles, measure our fuel consumption in miles per gallon, buy our fuel in litres. It's just a nightmare. Right. Okay, now I can't remember how to do this. It's sphere overlap. Sphere cast or sphere overlap? Computes and stores colliders touching. and has no documentation, no comment.
Nice. That's been a function for ages though. What? How's that not got documentation?
No, it's good. No, so I've got physics.spherecast and physics.
Overlap.
Yeah, so overlap sphere says computer source colliders. This says returns true if there are any colliders. Spherecast doesn't say anything at all. I think that's the right function. Returns. Oh, cast a sphere along a ray. Okay, that's a cast. Okay, so that's not what I want. So we want overlap sphere. We probably want overlaps to do change to non-analog. Okay, so. You know, after all these years of working in nothing but trig, you think I would know off the top of my head the difference between radius and diameter. Diameter's the mid. No, radius is the middle to the end. Diameter is the way across, I think.
Radius is the half. Diameter is the full length of the circle.
Radius is the half. Is there a good way of memorizing that? Both of those words have A as the second letter.
The only way I started to remember it was an episode of Stargate SG-1 where he puts his finger in the middle and then just draws a line.
That's the nerdiest sentence I've ever heard.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I need strange ways to remember stuff like that.
I mean, strange things are good ways to remember things, because the more memorable it is, the easier it is to remember it.
Yeah, I've just associated the radius with him putting the finger in and drawing that line.
Well, I'm going to remember that radius and rate is half, and they both have A as the second letter. Actually, I think if I just... No, it's okay, we'll do it like that, and then we'll pass in the ignition range.
Well, I think of it this way, kind of. Like in my mind, when I think of it, a radius, if you took that line and span it around the sphere, it could rotate 360 degrees. If you do that with diameter, it would only rotate 180 before it meets itself again.
How's that any better? Half a second letter. I have no idea. It is Visual Studio 2017.
It's not. I'm just a lunatic.
So, now Malcolm, I know you're about to say, oh, what? You don't use the new one. You give me one critical feature about Visual Studio 2019 that's better than 2017. One must-have feature that means I have to not use the thing Unity tell me to use. Remember, I've only just recently moved up from Visual Studio Express, and the only thing Visual Studio offers that Visual Studio Express doesn't is you can switch thread context in the debugger. So, the diameter by the D. Visualize the diameter by the D it starts with. The D of line of the D is the... Hold on.
I feel like he hasn't worded that well.
Visualize the diameter by the D it starts with. The D, the line of the D, is the diameter of the half circle the rest of the D draws. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, yeah, I got it, right.
That made sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, here's a circle. That's not very good circle.
Are we going on to paint? Is that what's happening?
Let me use the circle tool. So... And oopsie, and I'll do it in red. And then there you go, there's the D. Half.
Oh!
Wait. But that's the diameter, not the radius.
I thought radius was half, yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. You just confused yourself.
Yes. So hold on. Maybe I've misunderstood. 2022 is 64-bit native. That will make no difference at all. But yeah, I use the version of Unity, Unity tell me to, because it goes wrong enough when they do that. So, visualize the diameter by the D it starts with. D, the line of the D is the diameter. Right, so what you're saying is the straight line of the D, it goes all the way along. Yeah, that's terrible. I'm going to give you 3 out of 10 for that one. Here's how you memorize it. Radius and half both have A as the second letter. There you go.
What?
Well, that's
What
better.
works?
Is that not better?
If it works for you.
Actually, hang on. So now I need to detect all things nearby. Now this has one slightly interesting issue. Is depending on the hierarchy of what I'm casting, it may have a collider, or it may not. So if we don't get anything, and if that has an associated rigid body, so the rigid body may be higher in the hierarchy, then I will try and capture that one. So I may need to walk up to the rigid body. And in this case, Burnables equals the collider's attached rigid body. There we go. So, did we have something to burn? Okay, so if lBurnable.state is unignited, then we will, so here, if current temperature is greater than ignition temperature, ignite. But I did think I can have like barrels explode and then like explode through the level and they'll land near new stuff and set it on fire. So this has one of the things that I want in the games. There are a few things I try and put into the games in this non-Fortress period, and one of them is hilarity and emergence. So if you're there putting out a fire and you've nearly got the barrel out and the barrel explodes, shoots off behind you into a whole bunch of unignited stuff, that's emergent and it's going to be hilarious and people will scream.
So you want half your factories to blow up?
Well, so there's no factory in this game. Different game. This is not Fortress Craft related. This is HDRP related. I want to write a HDRP game, a high definition render pipeline, and I want to write a network game. So Fortress Craft Phoenix will be using a completely different networking system. I have yet to release a game with it. I don't want to release the I don't want to start on Fortress Craft Phoenix without a year or two of learning all of the new stuff that's happened, and that's quite important.
That makes sense.
Okay, so I wonder what the what should I do? Should I just add 10% of our current temperature? Like, how quickly should stuff ignite, roughly? I guess if I add 10% of our current temperature.
Why don't you just use the real-world physics of how high a pressure vessel needs to, how hot a pressure vessel needs to be before it ignites the fuel inside?
Well, because in reality, metal spaceships don't burn, and so it's not not going to work very well. No, so what will happen is, well, I mean, this might even work now. So one barrel will ignite, and its temperature will go up, and when its temperature gets high enough, all things within 5 meters will also catch fire. And so I could do draw sphere. Draw. Why do I have everything apart from a sphere? Draw bounds?
Oh, is there not a sphere? Or is it?
Oh, I wrote this. Oh, it's because there's a built-in one for sphere. That's why. So I didn't have to write one. What's it called? Range.
Oh yeah, okay, that'll do it.
Mission range. Okay. And we want to do gizmos.color equals color.red. So this should draw a red circle, 5 meters big around here. If you maybe a wireframe sphere might be a better idea. I mean, every so often Unity just says, "Hey, you should upgrade to this version of Unity," and I do. I don't think about it; I just do it. So, and I want to print out the temperature. Current temperature to string.
strange to think the game's coming out in Unity these days.
What? Sorry.
It's true. I'm old enough to remember when Unity was new, and it was the bastard stepchild that most people didn't want to use. And considering the games that are coming out today, even AAA games are made on Unity.
Oh yes, I mean Unity. The thing is about Unreal is everybody knows the game's in Unreal. You know, I mean I won't talk about the Matrix because it is quite frankly astounding, but that is not really fair. That was a large amount of the very, very best people at Epic working on the next generation one, showing how good it was. If you've not seen it, do check out the Matrix demo. It's I
saw it.
It's something else. But the thing is, I can name lots of Unreal games, and people always talk about the good ones. But the amount of shitty indie games I've played that are in Unreal and they've turned everything on and they barely manage 30 frames a second, I'm like, yeah, okay, but great. But, I mean, we've been playing Power Wash Simulator, and that's been in Unity. There have been a lot of games in Unity. Okay, so it's now burning. See it getting hotter? That's how temperature works. And every... why is the ignite tick not going up? Ignite tick greater than... Oh, whoopsie. Minus equals 1F.
Does the radius always stay the same, or do you have the radius grow as it gets hotter?
That's a good question.
Area effect. Because that might get a bit too chaotic if it does, I guess, but it's also kind of realistic, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just want to sort of play with almost like dominoes of stuff going up. So the idea is I want to get this basic thing to work and then add some graphics in and then just sort of have a play.
You're going to mess with like shader graph and stuff?
Oh, yes.
Particles,
oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not for particles, but...
no, not for particles.
Yeah. Oh, definitely shader graph.
That's very red.
Yes, because I've just put a red light in the corner of the room.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I'll do it.
Okay. So that's not working. Oh, it's burned out. Well, first of all, let's make them burn for 100 seconds, not 10. I'm working on a game where stuff. I had a good idea, and the idea is rattling around in my brain, so I thought I'd work on it. I thought I would just share it because I do a lot of programming. I just don't normally stream it, but I should, and I know I should, and I'm a bad person. Okay, so this has collided with 4 things. What are the 4 things it's collided with? It has collided with wall 1, ceiling, barrel and barrel test. Cool. So therefore, that doesn't have a burnable. That's fine. It doesn't have a rigid body. Whoops, it's because I typed in return rather than continue. That's it. Now I can't spell continue. Continue. Right, that'll be right. But yeah, I want to ship a multiplayer game. I want to ship a HDRP game. I want to ship a VR game. This is one of the few that sort of ticks all those boxes, but I suspect what will happen, in reality, I suspect Fortress Graphics will be delayed about 6 months, and I will ship about 4 more games than I was planning to. That's what I think will actually happen, but I will try to make that not happen.
What's the release date for the new Fortress Craft?
I only know the start date. Release date is, when it's done.
When's the start date?
October. So 1 year after the last game I worked on came out. It didn't go very well. But I got paid. I got paid a lot of money, so, I'm happy. Part of me thought that I might spend, a decade working on Eden. Oh, right. Oh.
Oh, you're like, no, it was successful.
That worked.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, so I don't know if you saw that because it was a little bit... So what happens is the one on the right begins to burn, and then the one on the left, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter until it catches too. So it's burning. So in theory, you see, you should be able to hose it down with water and keep stuff from catching fire, just like a real fire. There you go. This is now at 729 degrees. This one is unignited at 1 degree. But this seems to have some sort of mad runaway temperature effect. Wait, what? What's the ignition? Oh, whoops. Ignition range. Ignition temperature. I said it caught fire when it hit 5 degrees C, which is definitely wrong. But if stuff doesn't catching fire and exploding does not interest you, then this is the wrong stream. But I also need to stream Stinky Spaceship's Element. I know I've been hiding it all away. I just don't like showing stuff till it's ready. But this is so far from being ready, no one could go, oh wow, is this something, you know, this is obviously...
I'm out tomorrow, right?
Yeah, there you go. So it's possibly a bit slow. In fact, it's so slow it probably will never catch fire. So it needs to hit 1,000 degrees C before it hits. Is that... Oh, yeah, okay. So I don't need to... So, do not time step. This is only called once per second. Tell me why. I also need to make sure the scripts are stored safely up on the Subversion server. So give me a moment. The moment anything even works, stick it somewhere else. Because if I lost everything now, I'd be like, just lost an hour's work. One guy I worked with got sacked because he didn't back his code up for 2 weeks, didn't commit for 2 weeks, and then his computer crashed. Yeah, lost 2 weeks worth of work. They sacked him because they're like, you have to commit every night. That's probably not quite right, is it? It's working. Oh, I'm an idiot. Wrong. I removed the wrong time step. What's this one? I do not time step. Right. So that should add 150 every so often. But if I had a pile of paper would ignite much slower, but a pile of iron or something would ignite much faster. That's slower. I have got nice graphics. The plan is to make it have nice graphics, but I'm going to try and stick with simulation for the moment. Okay, this is going to be pretty cool. And pop. Right. Okay. This is one of my favourite things. Quick actions batching, add missing cases. So it adds in all of the cases for me, which is so nice. Rather than having to tap, and if I add one, it just I can extend it. It's one of my favourite things. I say I'm old enough to remember when IntelliSense was a third-party add-on that was £1,500 a seat from Whole Tomato. So in theory, then, I will. Well, I'm also disregarding distance right now, but I don't necessarily need to overcomplicate the algorithm. So this is one thing I was not disappointed by Power Wash Simulator. But it would have been nice in Power Wash Simulator if you initially hosed something that didn't reduce its dirtiness, but it made it wet. So when you came back to it, it would have sort of coasted on. I think Power Wash Simulator is just complicated enough to be interesting. But in this one, if I put in so that things only ignite based on distance, do you care? So there, that's making all the nearby ones warm. But yeah, so in this case, we probably do want a distance factor because it's warming up all of those barrels at exactly the same rate. The temperature should get to 1,000 and then just stop.
Should it also warm stuff up near it depending on the distance between it and that object?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That doesn't do that. Right now, they all catch fire simultaneously.
Right.
But that's okay. So what we'll do is we will take the distance. Now we know for a fact it's within 5 meters. That's handy. So unfortunately, there isn't a good way of using that information. But what I can just do is transform.position minus LA calls I dot transform.position. So I know that the distance is, and yes, I know it should be inverse square law. I don't care. So that gives me a distance between 0 to ignition range. And if I divide it by ignition range, that's 0 to 1. So when you're at full distance, you're at 1. When you're at minimum distance, you're at 0. So I invert that. That means that when you are inside the barrel, the distance is 1. And when you're at maximum distance, the distance is 0. Then multiply it by that. Oh, not ignition range, sorry. So the effect is now scaled by distance. Now this probably means I need to increment the distance because stuff will go. But I'm hoping if I set fire to the middle one, the fire should burn. Yes, actually, that's actually very easy. So while it's unignited, the color is color.lerp between green and red by current temperature divided by ignition temperature. So that should start off green and fade to red as it gets closer to igniting. And I just need to put a close bracket in. Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I've got good at Unity now. I've now memorised all the helper functions, which makes things a lot quicker. Rather than going, how do I lerp between two colours? Just color.lerp. Unity do not write enough helper functions. So yeah, hopefully now it should fade. So they're all green because they are at temperature. I can't... I don't know why it did that. Where's my mouse cursor?
No cursor for you.
No, no. I can't click on the game view. What's going on? I have a double click, it's maximising it. Which I'll be honest, is not a thing I knew Unity did. There we go. So it's now burning. And the other ones nearby should start to move. Yes, there you go. This one's at 300, this one's at 130. Now I might actually want to use inverse square, which is actually very easy. Oh. So there's a bug. When I say ignite, I set the current temperature to 20. That doesn't make any sense. I will default the temperature to 20. But yes, you're quite right. As they caught, they went back down to minimum temperature. So the one of the issues we've got, much like a real fire, is this going to be wildfire. Devtron, can you please enable crisp on your microphone? Next to voice connected, it's the noise suppression by crisp. We're getting some shh from you.
I really like noise suppression, but sometimes it just turns itself off, and I don't know why.
Yeah, mine's off.
It is on.
Oh, that's weird. There must be a very loud noise behind you.
No.
Oh, we're just getting like shh, shh, shh. The other day I made a noise so much that wasn't human speech that Crisp kicked in and went, yeah, you're not hearing that.
Yeah, I found on Discord, and it's only Discord, that sometimes, stuff happens with my microphone.
But yeah, Crisp should cut in and get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so let me twiddle with this light over here, because this was just a test light. Really? Are you sure you've got Crisp on? Because I just heard your phone, and that's one of the things... I'm quite surprised that it's
Okay, I'll enable and disable it then. Now it's
I'll let you know.
I'll leave it disabled just for a minute or two. We'll try.
I'm having a mild issue with the HDRP. Why on earth? So I've got this thing that in HDRP you need to balance the lights correctly, which is a pain in the fucking arse. So right now this room is incredibly good. Actually, Brett, you might be able to help me here because you have done. So, let me turn that off. Let me turn that off. So this room is almost entirely dark. Okay, forget the fact that it looks light. It's not. So when Unity there's nothing for it to reflect, it drops down the hierarchy to the lowest level of the hierarchy, which is the sky. So for some reason, it thinks that I have a sun. I don't. So here's my directional light. It's off. So this what you're seeing here. If let me just make a chrome sphere just to explain better. And I fixed this before because I fixed it in Future Defenders, and I was pleased because for some reason I didn't need to make everything ultra bright and foggy.
Is it in either your render pipeline settings or your lighting settings? Because I know in there you can turn on and off having a sun. I'm pretty sure.
Under lighting, environment. No, because I don't have one. Let me just clear the bait data a sec.
I'm just letting the stream catch up.
Maybe that's done it. I've cleared the bake data.
Oh, so it's still it baked from when it was there.
Possibly. But if I just make this material chrome. Once you got it right, it's fine. Yeah, so there you go. That's what something that's completely reflective looks like. Because it should be using this render probe. Now I do also have render probe proxies, which I've never used before, but anything within here should be using this real-time render probe, which is black. Like if I make it baked, that's fine, I can bake it. And now everything should be red because the reflection probe is red. So, but it's obviously, that's still the Unity sky it's reflecting, isn't it? It's blatantly, obviously the Unity sky. And for some weird reason, this is solid black. Now, I think Unity, so you also have the issue, if I get too close to something black, everything else goes white because you've got the Unity's eye adaptation.
Like readjust. Oh god.
Yeah. Now I don't know if I should keep eye adaptation on though. I really don't, because I can turn eye adaptation off. So I've turned the exposure off. I just need to balance everything correctly.
Does it let you keep it on and then just tweak the amount it does it? Because you just have to do it like a tiny amount.
Well, yeah, because currently it will adapt between an interior scene and about a sunlit scene. So it's expecting dark scenes. The problem you've got, and I've had this before, when it's too dark, if the reflection map isn't dark, like the sky, it will go, it's bright. So if you're inside a dark room, because you're inside a safe or a vault, but the sunshine outside is bright and there's nothing to reflect against, it will fall through to the sky reflection, even though there's no way you could see the sky. Let me just pop up the high quality though. Let's have a look at the... Come on, scene-view.ongo.repaint. They really need to fix this, by the way. Whatever it's doing inside Repaint needs to update this. Rather than churning for 15 seconds, 20 seconds. But yeah, I was going to go for fancy. Screen space reflections. I do want screen space reflections, because they kind of work. Oh, we do actually have something going on there. Once this works, it's fine. Once you've got it sorted, it is all good. There's nothing else I need to tweak, though, is there? It's just... And I would like to do RTX, but that is something that's the sort of thing I would just go, hey, Brett, make RTX work. As a sort of an atomic task.
I'm not actually messed with it, to be honest.
Neither have I. Last time, oh my god, I looked at it and I basically went, yeah, sod off Unity. There's no way I am doing this. Like, you need to seriously fix it. So here we go. I now have no lights in the scene. Not a single light.
That looks quite lit to me.
Yes. Let me just rebake the reflection probe. I want it to be black. I want this to be pure black. So the reflection probe is now black. But as you can see, we have a sun. So if I turn the sun off, we get this skybox. And I want the skybox to go away.
I was gonna say, what happens if you set the skybox to like just black and see what happens?
You
It
don't.
might just be...
You can't do that anymore.
You not?
Well, not really. I mean, hold on. Let me share my screen so you're not watching lagged.
Yeah.
I think I have enough bandwidth.
Stream just dies.
Fuck, I'll share it at 15. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you used to be able to choose which light was the sun, but you can't. I mean, static lighting sky, none. And then our profile is the profile we've got here. Where's my inspector tab gone?
Why don't you just make a custom HDRI sky and that's just black and just set it to HDRI
Oh, wait,
sky?
But hold on. Lighting, static lighting sky, none. And then inside here, HDRI sky is ticked. Yeah, there we go. That should do it. Right, there we go. There we go. Oh, Unity. Right, now everything is black. That's what I want. I realize it's not ideal, but now I can turn on this red point light. There we go. And that's lighting things up, and that now looks
Very pretty.
brilliant. And I will turn on the...
Ray tracing.
I'll turn on a real-time reflection map, which is fine. Yeah, I'll just very briefly make a. Sorry, I keep doing it on the wrong monitor, so you guys can't see. Yeah, area lights. Annoyingly, you can't. You can't bake them, is it? No, you can't. Oh, yeah, you can't have volumetrics on area lights. I was like, what? But that's one of the things I would actually really want. So I can have a nice area light, which are very cool. So I can now have lights that are of completely arbitrary shapes. It's great. And in real time. And it goes on and on in the unit documentation how brilliant it is. You don't need to bake them anymore. And I'm like, but I want to bake the lights. I don't want to have real-time lights. I know that sometimes you do, but quite often you don't. But yeah, area lights are what you would use for ray tracing as well, because these have all very nice penumbras and fall-offs and all of those sorts of fancy things. There we go.
Is it the wrong way? Is it the wrong way up?
Oh no, it's the wrong way up. It would be lighting the ceiling, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's not very bright, but I want to enable volumetrics, but I can't. So what you can do, in a very dumb sort of way, is then directly underneath it put a spotlight. Yeah.
Let's make that volumetric.
Well, this is the thing. I've had to do this in Unity before. Have multiple lights on top of each other doing different things because Unity. But yeah. So this is a. That's pretty bright. That's 40,000 lumen, but that's not, as we have seen, insanely and ridiculously bright. Wait, hold on, that's the wrong one. So that's good. That means I now have volumetricness at 5,000 lumens. Well, that's about the same as a projector.
Let's project the games.
Very good. But it's 180 degrees. So if I do one that's a bit more like that. That's fine. I love volumetric. So this is
actually
is one of the things that is important that Fortress Craft, if possible, and I really hope it's possible, if possible.
Adam,
Yeah.
you know what's really funny? So they don't have area lights volumetric, but
No.
I've been messing with HDRP in 2D, and the 2D light that lets you like change the shape of it does let you use volumetrics.
Yeah, it's Unity. Sometimes they do stuff with maybe without thinking. Yeah, so we actually there. So the spotlight is actually producing almost no light at all, whereas the ceiling light is producing all the volumetrics. But this is what I want. This to me is very important. So I'll turn off the gizmo so you can see what's going on a bit. You can see that's casting a shadow through the volumetrics. So Fortress Craft should have quite extensive volumetrics because they work really well when you are deep in a cave. That should look fantastic. But yeah, you can see all of the. There you go.
Shadows.
Oh. Right. So let us add to the barrels a burn light.
Fire.
So I would also, part of the plan for this is to have the game entirely real-time lit, and as something catches fire, the lights go out. So when you are playing it, multiplayer, I hope, other people are going to have to aim spotlights for you or bring proper lights in, because you won't be able to see. I'd like this light to. So now here's an interesting issue. So I make this cast shadows. It will cast its own shadow, but if it's an object that's just on fire, I kind of. Oh no, actually that might work. That might work. Let me move this barrel over here. Explain that problem. So if I make the burn light red. Oh, that's actually working all right. So, oh no, it isn't. It's completely. I need to make it so it doesn't cast shadows. Why is it not casting any shadows at all? I probably should make it a lot brighter. I don't want it to cast shadows on itself, you see? But if I put it in the middle of it... Oh, it's not. Oh, of course, because if I have a more complicated object, it probably will, though. Because there will be some polys. Do I actually have a barrel? I probably do. No, 2 R's. Wow, this is... Look at this, look. I'm just sitting there going, hang on. Yeah, so I have a more complicated object, which I notice is not centered. That does look very cool. Look at the volumetrics coming out the base of the barrel. But yeah, I've got the issue that if I put the light in the middle, it will start casting weird, and that looks really cool, but wrong. So I want the object to look like it's on fire, not that the object has got a light on it. Now I can twiddle with the near plane, so that means that nothing within, let's say, 2 meters of the light will cause a shadow. That will probably be enough. Now I have no idea, realistically, if I can start running all of these, if I hit apply, with lights.
Guess
we'll find out in a minute. Like, I don't know. I have no idea whether stacking multiple lights is a performance hit.
Well, in non-HDRP, isn't there usually a limit to the number of point lights you can have? Unless you up that limit in settings.
That's forward. This is
forward,
deferred.
right,
So in deferred, we can have unlimited lights.
Right.
I'd say quite literally, but actually, literally, you can have unlimited lights. Your limiting factor is the number of pixels that you're covering. So the more so for every pixel you cover, you get a performance hit. So if you have lots of lights that are only tiny, it's essentially free. Or it's cheap. If you have lots of lights that are huge, it's very, very expensive. Now in this case, this probably become under expensive. Alright. Public lights. Oh no, hold on. Public extended light data HDRP or something. HD additional light data. And then I need to tell Unity sort itself out. Cool. Right. So public float burn light intensity equals. I don't know what it is. Okay, yeah. Light unit dot lumens. Right, cool. And I've decided that's 60,000. I can probably actually grab that back. But that would mean... Well, I was going to say, I could probably just grab that back so I can set it in the editor. But that means that when I'm working, I would have to work with all of the barrels in the entire game on fire, which is probably going to be a little bit difficult to work with.
Yeah.
But this means now I can take that light and I can turn it off so I can see what I'm doing. And then, hopefully, as it catches fire, so when it ignites...
You tie the brightness to how hot it is.
No, because it doesn't glow. Like, it will...
Oh, true.
I mean, I'll twiddle with the fire in a minute, because it's, fire... It should... As you run out of time, I'll die it down at the end and stuff like that. But now we're getting out of the realms of simulation into the realms of, look at the cool graphics. Why haven't I got anything achieved towards the game?
Shiny lights.
I know. Explosions and fire.
Hello.
So, hello.
Please. Does fire cast a shadow? So if you've got a match that's burning and you shine a light at it onto a wall, what do you see on the wall? The silhouette of?
Heat distortion.
But does it cast a shadow?
You probably will see darkness because of the heat shadow, but it won't be a shadow because it's plasma. And light goes through plasma, I'm guessing.
Close. I mean, it's not the light goes through it, it's a light source.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no shadow for a flame.
But what happens if you shine a light? I thought we were shining a light at a match.
Yeah, shining light at a match onto a wall. Obviously, you get a silhouette of the match, but you don't get a silhouette of the burning because it's a light source.
Does the plasma itself not block any light going through?
No, because it's a light source.
But it's also plasma, even if it was dark.
It's not. No, if you're thinking of like particles or something like that that are somehow making it darker, no. But that's why I asked the question, because it's sort of counterintuitive.
I just googled it. If you want the answer.
Well, it's quite. I know the picture. There's quite a famous picture about this of someone taking a photo of it. But I'm wondering if it's. I wonder if you're right and you're wrong. I wonder if it is darker, but imperceptibly so. Because I said, does plasma just not block light? Does a plasma field not stop light particles getting through at all? I don't know.
It has to do with what's burning. Nothing is pure fire. It's the fuel source. For example, a match, you have soot in it. That causes a shadow. So there's airborne particles in it that causes the shadow. So in that sense, it causes a shadow because of the particles.
Little teeny.
Yeah, that's the shadow of the soot, though. I'm talking about the flame. Does a flame have a shadow? And no, it doesn't. Yeah, but obviously soot does.
What even is fire?
Yeah, I think it's plasma. I think that's
plasma. I'm going to Google. Does plasma have a nucleus? Does plasma transport glucose? Does plasma cast a shadow? Oh god. If you take a partially ionized plasma and then only illuminate it with a lamp that emits photons at a discrete resonant frequency corresponding to the particular atomic ionic transition of the plasma, then it could be much sparser and it will cast a shadow. Boom!
Whatever, geek.
Do lightsaber blast cast shadows? Does a lightsaber blade cast a shadow? But yes, it can cast a shadow, but this is... Oh my word. Like... way out of, if I'm burning a match, like there are some images of plasma casting shadows. I assume it's the dark bit on the left.
Right. Interesting question though.
Yes, it is. Yes, because it's a bit counterintuitive. Because there's a if I can find the image. Because if you look at a picture of it, it does kind of hurt your brain a little bit. But if you look at a picture of a...
that's not even a very well exposed picture.
Yeah, but if you look at that one, I can see a shadow. But that would be soot.
Yeah.
That would be soot though, not the
I would say so. It's conveniently shaped like a flame, isn't it? I'm not sure I really buy that picture, but
well, this one says here in this picture.
What is that?
In this picture, the flame is casting shadow because there's another light source in the room.
Yeah, okay. It's a bit weird how the wick seems to be counterintuitively going to the right in the shadow as well.
Is this some giant conspiracy?
Oh well.
People on the
That looks like
Yeah, here we go. So this is what I was expecting to see. You see, so that there, and I apologize, is the distortion of the heat, because there is a massive heat transition, and it will distort the light quite a lot.
Yeah, but distortion isn't shadow.
No. Well, what even is shadow?
Absence of light. Next question.
Well, then what is darker is absence of light. To be honest, there are quite a lot of pictures that do show something, but you're quite right, it's soot. But as I said, if the resonant ionic frequency is matching, actually it can cast a shadow. I think that's what it said.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I mean, I'm just, obviously I'm just a messenger. But yeah.
What it means is Adam is distracting himself from doing the project he's trying to
Well, I distracted him. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Okay, so I'm going to... Oh, I don't know how to do this. I want to fade the light out, but I don't know how to get the current intensity. So part of the thing, I do need to get back into the habit of doing this. And I do find myself getting distracted, but obviously when I have lots of people watching me, it's harder. I say it's harder to get distracted. Apparently everyone gets distracted along with me.
It's true.
Here's an interesting question. Does the HD additional light data intensity return it in lumens, in lux, in EV? Let's have a look at the documentation. Get the intensity of the light. Oh, using the current light. Yeah, okay. Right, so now the fire should burn out over the course of its lifetime. So it'll turn on when it starts to burn and then turn off when it's done.
So what makes the lights go out in this game? I think you said as the fire progresses, the lights go out.
Yes, I want so that like this ceiling light will catch fire. So essentially all the lights in the game can be burnt out. So when you burn them out, you'll have to provide lights, which should be pretty cool because we can have fancy pants lighting. So that means that someone will have, you've got the thing like we had in Icarus. One of the cooler things was when I was in a cave chopping down rocks, but then someone else had to hold the torch. That was actually pretty cool. So I did like that.
I didn't see that. Did it work well though? Because using a naked flame torch is awful for lighting in reality, isn't it?
It is, and quite frank, it didn't help that whoever it was, I'm not going to name any names, but Max and Henry kept getting distracted and trying to help. I'm like, just hold the torch. Stop. Just hold the torch. Don't do anything else. I like co-op games with role-based stuff. So you can focus a bit more on the thing you or your character specializes in and not have to worry so much about, what should I be doing at this point? Your role is go get the lights. Cool, done.
Yeah, or also everyone competing to try and do the same bit.
So I just reduced it. All the lights should now fade out. Oof, there we go. Cool. Well, that actually works. I'm quite pleased. Not very exciting yet, but it's getting there. And the lighting works. That's also, if you've not done HDRP, you don't understand. But there is a challenging part of your HDRP project is just getting the lighting to work. Did I turn off? No, I do have exposure turned on. So yeah, this is the darkest it will get. So if I go and stare at something really dark, it will get a bit brighter. If I say something brighter.
That's how once it works, it does look way prettier.
What, sorry? Exposure?
HDRP, just lighting.
Oh yeah, HDRP is glorious. It's worth doing. I say that, if they put volumetrics into URP, I probably wouldn't bother.
Does it support it? I think they do.
No, well, Eden had volumetrics, but they are cheap. But I want expensive, good volumetrics in HDRP.
You mean in URP, or you mean? I don't know if they'll do that though, because I think URP is meant to be for like low end more so.
Okay, so public float ignite jiggle.
Ignite jiggle.
Ignite jiggle. If ignite jiggle is not 0,
jiggle.
Yeah, jiggle.
Right.
Get component rigid body dot add force random on unit sphere multiplied by ignite jiggle. This is a bit.
But are they actually going to like knock themselves around, or?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's just caught fire. Why? What do you mean? Oh dear. It's a bit boring right now.
Oh Jesus, Malcolm. When are you going to simulate wind that moves each object's heat radiation sphere?
I mean, I could. So this is one of those that just because I could doesn't mean I should. So that's not that hard to. I mean, I'm using a sphere, but I could always bias the sphere however I wanted. Move that a bit closer. Make things burn a bit quicker. No, they didn't jiggle.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much of a jiggle here.
They did. Let me crank it up though.
I'm hoping they just go flying now.
No, I just want them to jiggle and occasionally fall over. You'll probably never notice it.
Oh, see, that's quite good.
Yeah. Oh wow! It burnt out without setting anything else on fire. Fine, you can burn for 20 seconds. Insane, things do burn for a random period of time, so it's not fixed. So that does mean the levels aren't necessarily going to be the same each time.
Is it random within a range, or is 20 just the maximum?
The range is 5. Ignition range 5 meters.
No, I mean it's in the range of time periods.
Oh, it's the average burn time is 20 seconds, so it will burn for somewhere between 10 and 40. Oh, I tell you what it should do. If we're unignited, else current temperature. I really need this in fixed update. Some things are very hard to do in the normal update, and one of them is reducing a value by a scalar. So I want to reduce it to 99% of itself, but this code executes once a frame. So this means that if you're running at 1,000 frames a second, it will work very, very, very differently, whereas this code always executes 50 times a second. Yeah, well, sort of, Malcolm. I mean, one thing I will do is if you put water on an object, its temperature will drop. So you can stop. You should be able to put water breaks down. Now, quite how I'm going to show this to the player without implementing thermal imaging is beyond me.
Oh dear, I've just found out that apparently they're doing a reboot trilogy of the Transformers films.
Oh wow, is it by Michael Bay? Have you seen the Turtles films? The new ones.
What? No, I haven't seen the new ones.
I watched both of them when I broke my arm, and the first one, it's not very good. I mean, I'm the sort of person that if I liked that band everybody hates, not Linkin Park, the other one, Nickelback. It's just like I like Nickelback. The Turtles film was all right. I know it's cool to hate on everything Michael Bay does, but it was all right.
This one is directed by Stephen Caple Jr.
Excellent. So, the Turtles film was all right. That's the best I can give it. The second Turtles film was really good, and I really enjoyed it. And I was like, holy shit, I thought to myself, has Michael Bay finally honed his craft? No, he wasn't involved in the slightest, and maybe they should have mentioned that in the marketing buff. So yeah, the second one is actually really good. Really enjoyed the second one.
Have you
You
watched
like Nickelback?
No,
Have you watched the Bumblebee?
the point is, I'm not just going to say I don't like Transformers because it's cool to say I don't like Transformers.
Have you watched the Bumblebee film?
Yeah, that's all right.
I thought it was okay.
I did.
I mean, that was like 2 years ago. I think everybody's seen it by now. Or was it? No, it would have been 2, I think so.
I might have won that now.
That I wasn't planning putting any flaming arrows in.
Oh.
The problem is that everything is cooling off. It's cooling off a little bit quickly. Now, to be more realistic, what I would actually have to have here is divide the world into cells and have the cells absorb the ambient temperature of the burnables, so therefore things can't drop below the ambient. But there's probably not actually any point in implementing this. Like, it would work, but, you know, you can't tell. Oh my god!
Sounds complicated. Why can't you just clamp the temperature?
What?
Well, you just said you described dividing it into cells so that they couldn't drop below ambient temperature.
Well, no, I need to calculate what the ambient temperature is at a given point in space, which I could do, but there's probably not any point in doing it. But it'd be like one of those things, I could do it, it's not that hard to simulate, but if the player can't tell, then there's probably not a lot of point doing it. That looks a little bit disturbingly, but that's fine. If you had them also have an ignite effect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit play again and let you watch that again. I'm going to go get a drink, and then I'm going to do an ignite effect, as I need to pull across a particle system just to show, poof, you've caught fire. And then, hopefully, that should all tie in a little bit better, and then I can start to build a little bit of world, because I need the world to catch fire, not just barrels. So I'll be back in a minute. Watch things catch fire.
It's just hot.
As a poltergeist.
Oh.
Yeah. Ship it.
Ship it. Game's done. They get the time to stop wobbling though, don't they? Jesus.
So they just jiggle the whole time they're on fire.
No, they don't. That's why it's funny. It's just... It's still going. The light's going to go out before it stops wobbling. I like that ominous wobbling icon on the wall. It's still going. All the lights are gone. Has he created a perpetual motion machine here? That's not how physics should work.
I should make the lights flicker as well when they're light.
Adam, that one there's still wobbling.
Yeah, so it's probably got... Yeah, it's got almost no angular drag.
Yeah.
And almost no drag. It's usually worth adding a little bit, because adding a little bit means objects cannot get numerically unstable. Let me make the lights flicker a moment. Oops. What do I call that? I wonder if I should do this 50 times a second. Good luck. I love this. So if I type in random dot, it suggests, and I type in ran, it suggests two functions, random range and range, one of which is deprecated. So I have to use this one. But that one appears first in the list. So I always have to hit down to type that. It's one of those.
Thanks, Unity.
Remove the old function, Unity. It's fine. You deprecated it about a decade ago.
Yeah, it's been deprecated for a long time.
Yep. Yeah, we'll flicker the light 50 times a second. It's not Jacob. I am working on prototypes. I'm working on tech. I think this might actually have a good game in it.
Barrel simulator.
In theory, by the way, we can actually watch it from the fancy view as well. I can just persuade it to disconnect from the. There we go. See with the reflections and everything.
That's pretty though.
Yeah, so now the light's flickering. Well, that's pretty good actually.
Is it flickering?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's a bit, yeah.
Yeah, now again, I'm streaming at 30. Am I streaming at 30? Yeah, I'm streaming at 30. You probably
I thought you were streaming at 15.
No, on Discord I'm streaming at 15.
Ah, okay, yeah.
That's actually pretty good. Right.
You can see it a bit, but not that much.
So, now one of the things I do struggle with is the Unity's particles are very good, but let me see if I can explain, because again, Brett's here. Brett does do at least a little bit of programming. You might be able to explain. So pretend for a moment that this quad is a particle.
Right.
Sake of arguments. This quad. So as I face it towards the light, it gets bright.
Yeah.
And if I face it away from the light, it gets dark, obviously. Now, if it's transparent, it has the issue that if my camera is here, that quad will look bright. Whereas if I put the camera behind it, because the quad, the light, the particle is on, it's facing away from the camera, it's black. And it's really annoying when the light source, if you move around the back of the particles, you want the particles to be transparent, but I don't think you can do that. So they're transparent as in they're rendered partially alpha'd, but they are facing away from the light source, therefore they're dark.
So I'm assuming you're doing this as world space particles then, not like facing the camera.
Well, if they're facing the camera, it's the same effect. If it's always facing the camera, if the light source is behind me, the particle is nice and light. If the particle, the camera is in front of me, then the particle is dark, because the particle is facing towards me, not the camera, not the light source.
Yeah.
But what I want is the light. I don't want there to be any directional lighting, just distance lighting, because it's a particle. It's a sphere. It's equally lit, and I seem to struggle to get this.
Yeah, I've had this issue before as well. I've tried a few different things. So I know in the particle systems you can also make it not be a quad. You can make it be a 3D object as well. So you can use like a really flat cube to do the same thing, but that's obviously not as efficient. Because then you're generating.
Well, how does that help? Because you're only seeing. And if you render it,
because it's being lit from both sides, I guess. Yeah.
But you're only. Well, I mean, you could obviously write.
I've not really tried.
I don't want to Google for it. I mean, this must be solvable.
It probably is. To be fair, I've not tried it with volumetric lighting, so.
Yeah, but volumetric lighting has nothing to do with lighting.
Yeah.
Could you stick two quads back to back, 180 degrees?
I don't know if it lets you do
yes,
that in the
but then you can't. Let's say you could, but then I'm rendering two particles exactly on top of each other, one facing towards you, one facing away from you. And at 45, if you're standing so the light is to your right, and you're standing, and the particle is basically at 90 degrees to the light, it's still black. It's really annoying. I'm honestly, I feel there must be a very obvious solution to this I've just not worked out. I just don't know what it is. But I don't quite know what to Google to find this, because I have had a quick poke around. But I've not...
When you say it's going black, it's going opaque, is it?
Well, it's not lit. Oh, let me just fix this error. It's rewired. Not anymore, I'm afraid. Can't use rewired. Oh. And I've got the performance monitor.
Have you tried the Unity input system yet?
I have to. That's what Sneaky Spaceships is using. I have no choice. You have to use it to use VR.
I didn't think it was that bad, but I haven't used Rewired or anything, so it's hard.
Are you joking me? I have not used anything so badly written in a great many years. It makes me very, very angry how appallingly over. You saw the code I wrote. Oh God, what was it? Was it the word delegate?
Oh yeah.
Where basically, I didn't understand the code to the point where it looked like someone had typed in a fucking smiley face. Yeah, it's a discard. Yeah, because Malcolm was like, "Oh, it's a herb," but I was like, I don't understand what it is. I'll grab the line of code because it's just I've got to search for discard. Oh, come on, where is that? But yeah, it's obviously written by a fucking student. That's the issue. This is written by somebody with no oversight from an experienced programmer. Because there's the line of code. Action dot performed plus equals space underscore space equals greater than fire. What the fuck does that mean? Like, the thing is, I have 12 years of programming in C Sharp. In C Sharp. I have 20 plus years of C languages. I have 40 plus years of programming. And look at this going, what? Like, what? And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, it all the way through, this code is atrocious. Really, 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 what the fuck are you doing, Unity? So, yeah.
I did not even know that code was valid.
Yeah, because I looked at it and went, this is it looks like a smiley face, doesn't it? It doesn't look like code.
You should like paste that on Twitter and just at Unity, being like, what does this mean?
But there is a what's the word? Keep it simple, stupid is important, and it's just an input system. Like, you didn't need to do anything complicated. You just need to make it not shit like the old one. Whereas I look at this going, I don't understand what this is. Like, I actually genuinely do not understand what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, to be fair, last time I messed with it, I didn't so much look at the code. I just sort of used the UI elements of it.
Well, yeah, I mean...
I didn't edit many of the functions themselves, so I didn't really properly look through it.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Is it if VR? So I've just looked a bit of code out of a VR game, and it's complaining that it doesn't know what VR is. No, you're all missing the point. I don't want to know what it means. I don't care what it means. What I care about is not seeing code that makes me go, I don't even know where to start with this code. All of the code is like this. All of the code is atrociously written. And I really, really, really do not want to understand or learn at all what they're doing. It's just, I should never, ever be presented with code that looks like it's written by someone who's just graduated university. It's all full of the wonder and possibilities of the latest iteration of C Sharp, and start to jam stuff into the second, or possibly largest, game development engine in the world. That's not what I want to see. That terrifies me that someone was allowed to shove that in. To the point where I think it's some Lambda stuff. So Henry, I believe the underscore means if there is no action.fire, don't worry about it. I believe that's what that means, is you're allowed not to have a fire function. So that's even worse. That means call fire unless there isn't one, in which case don't do anything at all. We had a very, very strong rule in all of the AAA games I've written, which is you do not fail gracefully. This is very important. Failing gracefully means stuff goes wrong and you carry on, and then it goes really wrong and you go, I don't know why it's gone really wrong. So don't write code that will call a function called fire unless you don't have a function called fire, in which case don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, it's fine. No, terrible. Utterly terrible.
just going back to your particle problem.
Yes. So yeah, well,
Yeah.
hopefully I've got a particle manager now.
Is that going to solve it then?
No, just means I can start. Yeah. So if I create a, I'll call this smoke particles. Yeah, I mean, if you've got a solution, that's great. But unfortunately, it's because at its sort of base level, Unity still renders particles as quads.
Yeah. So is it when they... When will this happen? Is it because the particle is rotating on the vertical axis, or is it because the light source is moving?
Neither. So in this
Right.
case, well, in this case, we've got particles. So here, imagine for a second those particles are transparent. They're coming towards me. So these particles start on this side of the light source, and they move to that side of the light source. The problem is that they'll be bright when they're over there, and the moment they get past the light source, they'll go dark because they're being lit from the back. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not transmissive. They're transparent, but not transmissive.
Well, they're sort of one-sided, aren't they? That's the issue.
They're
Just the brightness is only calculated for what, because it's a quad, but basically
yeah.
one-sided.
Yeah, I mean, the brightness calculation is not much more than a dot product.
Yeah. Okay. So then, how does this look when they go dark? Does it look? Do they appear as silhouettes, or do they? When you say they're unlit, do they appear transparent then, or do they appear as silhouettes?
They appear
that's right.
dark.
Okay, that's bad then.
Yes. So I want them to be lit because I want them to be transmissive.
And do you see the whole? Does the whole quad? Sorry, I'm looking at this a bit of a layperson. Obviously, does the whole quad go dark then, or just the bit without alpha?
Just a bit without alpha. It'd be very bad if you saw. Well,
Yeah.
I say
Start
that.
seeing squares everywhere. Yeah.
Sometimes, not so much. Let me just grab these.
Okay, so if there were snowflakes, you would start seeing black snowflakes, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And it's not a solution to just delete them at that point when that happens, because they'll disappear and that will look bad as well.
Well, I mean, that doesn't work. So what? Imagine that we've got a barrel on fire and it's belching smoke, but behind the smoke is a bright light source. I want the smoke to be lit by the bright light source, even if the particles are between me and the light source rather than the light source being me and the particles. If you give me a second, I'll actually flip into some particles here and you should be able to sort of see it.
Yeah, you want particles that act like bits of translucent debris.
Yeah.
Are there any particle shaders that might have the option to make them?
Possibly. This is the thing. As a rule of thumb, I'm very happy to just buy stuff. Like if someone solved this, I'll just buy it. You know, oh no, it's €10. It's much quicker for me to just buy a good solution than to not.
There might be one in the standard Unity ones, to be honest, but
No, there isn't.
is there not? Okay.
No. Unity don't do a very good job at supplying you everything that you need. They expect people to write it for them. And, so I need to grab the shuriken. Here you go.
Could you? This is way out there, but instead of having particles, could you have little blocks of fog, or would that just be way expensive?
Yeah, you can't really. Fog is, sadly not. Which would be cool, but no. Here we go. We've just received. Here we go. The shaders. What am I using? Yeah, so they have a completely new particle system, and quite frankly, I refuse at this point to learn a new particle system.
Again?
Yeah, they got Shuriken is a decade old.
Right, yeah.
So we removed Shuriken. Now it's called Image Effects, and that's cool because it is fully GPU based. But I'm not quite to the point where I'm like, oh god, I have to learn this all from scratch. I have spent 10 years getting very good at Shuriken. Right, so if I make these particles move much slower and last much longer, next question is, why are they not transparent? Why are they not
I have to comment on this.
Yep.
This was like when I worked in a factory. The old timers would always say, "No, we've done it this way for X number of years. We'll keep doing it this way, even though there's a better modern way to do stuff." They even hated learning the new machines that came in and refused it. Some of them.
Yeah, well, no, I try very hard where possible to embrace new things. I do, because it is important, and I have seen people get very hidebound and very stuck in their ways, and that's bad. The problem is, the new one, they've just introduced it, not told anyone about it, and then they said, oh, we're not supporting the old one, and everyone's like, what new one? And they haven't. So what they should have done is then provided you with a ton of examples, enough to make lots of indie games, but they haven't. They've done almost nothing at all. It's very odd, really, what they've done with this. So I do want to learn it, but this is one of those that I would have to do a whole stream. Hello, this stream is me doing a day of just doing image effects. Why is this transparent? Why can I not see it?
I'd watch that.
I think the standard particle shader is pinkified because it's HDRP.
No, I've replaced that with the one.
Oh, you've done that? Okay.
How many is this? Is this 16 by 8, I think?
So the illumination of the particle is only determined by the normal, but you want it to be also determined by the backside of it, by the opposite.
Not even the backside. That's the issue. If it's at 90 degrees to the light, I want it to be lit. I almost want it to be vertex lit with no directional information at all. Now I could probably write my own shader to do this.
Could you do? It would have been naff to do like
What's happened?
like face me's. In old games or even modern games where you have shrubbery and stuff, and you have just two planes at 90 degrees.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
To accommodate every angle, you're looking at it from every angle. It still looks like a shrub, so you don't get a sideways on problem because there's always.
Remember, it's looking at the camera. So these things here look at the camera. If I switch on wire, you can see it's a whole bunch of quads that always look at the camera.
Yeah. I'm just using that. I'm using the face me idea as an analogy for.
Yeah.
But really, I'm talking about the light source. So that basically it can't escape the light because it would have two planes at 90 degrees, so it can't escape the light, which is what you're describing when you said it's sideways on, it goes dark.
Yeah, I mean, what I might try and do is do some particles that don't use directional lighting at all. So this is kind of well, there you go, you can see the issue. There you go, that looks all right, doesn't it? You can see the particles move along, and as they get closer to the light source, they get brighter. And then I put the light the other side of the particles, and you can see the particles, obviously, as the particles twist towards the camera, they all get dark. And that's not what I want. I want the light source to be lighting through the particles. So if I go over this side, again, the particles coming towards them will be fine until they get to this side, and then they just go dark. Because they're facing away from the light suddenly. But the issue really is as I rotate, so you can see all the ones, these closest ones get black, but you can see they just start to change colours. It's really annoying, and I've run into it a few times, and it's a shame because I mean, what would be the correct thing? Like HDRP transmissive particles? Yeah, because now it's talking about using subsurface scattering. So that's skin and stuff.
Did you try translucent, by the way? Because that would have been the word I'd start with.
It's not the problem is that people mix up translucent and transparent. And in fact,
but I'm not. I'm talking about translucency.
So does Google. Google thinks.
Isn't subsurface scattering kind of what you want, though? You want light to go through it, kind of like in the same way, right?
Yeah, but that's starting to get very expensive. When it might be as simple as all I need to do is write a what would it be? It'll be I'd need to just sample the brightness at that point, which could probably be done. But I don't feel I should be writing it myself, and it would probably take some time.
I'm looking through some online sources for this, and I pull up Unity answers, and the response is just use an unlit one. I'm like, what?
Yes, that would solve it all if it's unlit.
It'd be nice if the solution was just a tick box, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, it should be. That's the stupid thing. It should be a tick box. It should not be what I'm having to do. Like, it really, really, really should not be this sort of clusterfuckery.
Have you tried checking check boxes that you've not checked before?
There's
Just
a lot of tick boxes in Unity, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but there's only a finite number under surface options.
Yeah, but none of these would make any difference.
Have you tried anyway?
I know what these do. These wouldn't do it. What I need is a transmissive function which takes the brightness at the center point regardless of facing. I mean, I can also render it different ways because this is billboard. If I can render them as mesh, it kind of works. Because now they're not rotating. See, the problem is that the camera-facing ones are rotating towards me. I love the specularity that it's getting, but I'll worry about that.
What happens if you make... Because presumably they're not emitting any light, but what happens if you make them emit more than 0?
It looks rubbish. And that's just a brightness boost. That just means they all get brighter by a certain amount. So ones in the wrong place are still dark.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I said I have actually fiddled with this before. This isn't like, hey, I've just worked out this issue, but it is, to my mind, quite a fundamental one. So you can see there, if I turn off the orange.
Yeah, I can see it's easy to make the problem. Yeah.
Oh, it's so easy to make the problem. I can't stand. Basically, I can see these ones out. I can make them go lit just by rotating the. See, I just have to rotate the camera a bit, and they go bright because it's fundamentally looking at me. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to. I could do them as quads, as meshes. Sorry, and that's expensive. Like very expensive. Because right now they should animate. If I only tend to last. Oh, actually, if I just tell it to. These are fancier particles. Yeah, I mean, if I knew the solution was an image shader, sorry, an image effect, which is just the new solution, I would do it, but I don't think it is necessarily. Basically, volumetric particles is a very fancy way of saying it. I want the particles to be lit by light sources within their range, regardless of the angle of the quad of the particle and the other one. Now, bear in mind, I do have the code for these, and I could write them. So this is the shader. This is the shader graph code. I don't. So Lee Tom, although it is a quad, you have to pretend it's a sphere. So pretend each of these particles is a sphere, because it is. It's a puff of smoke somehow moving all in one solid clump. So it is. It doesn't matter which rotation anything is. I mean, there might just be a transmissive thing, which is how much the light from the other side comes through. Now, it's possible, I would suspect, to do this, but I'm not sure how.
You only want to take the distance into account, don't you? So really, you just want to ignore the normal completely. So you want a tick box that says ignore normal.
Yes, sort of, because unfortunately I do kind of want normals on them, just to make life even more difficult. But I would settle for the moment for particles without bump maps. Again, this is where
but for the sake of calculating the brightness of you want to ignore the normal.
Yeah. HDRP, calculating brightness, shader graph. Because I don't think there's much in the way of custom lighting. In fact, someone's here like, how do I have custom lighting in HDRP? Okay, it's interesting. Someone is suggesting that you actually just shove the light data in via... Yeah, see, now I'm back to writing my own code. The problem I've got is it's a lot of... this is quite important, and this is something I do have to solve for Fortress Craft. I absolutely do. Because I need... But this gets the main light, which is cool, but I need a Yeah, oh, here we go. There is the function to get all of the lights.
You know what the best part of this is? You
No.
know that as soon as you manage to fix it, Unity will put a fix out after you've done it.
Oh, yeah.
Every time. It's like, oh, I managed to do this. Unity's like, oh, we fixed it now. There you go.
I mean, Lee Tom, why can't I? I mean, quite literally, it's this function here, which just... all this does is run over all of the lights and get their attenuated light colour. But all I would need to do is just get its brightness. But I might actually just be able to do it here. But I don't know whether or not this function will work. Now, how do I do it? Is it custom function? Why can I not right click? Yeah, because I can just pop code into here, you see. What do I do? Just paste it? Type file string. There we go. That is, I've seen a lot of bad dialog boxes in my time, but this one is right up there. So it might not be possible in HDRP. I can't make that any bigger. Oh, in fact, if not defined shader graph preview, let's just what's it complaining about? Mine 139. Well, that's wrong too. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me just. I'm trying to work out which line of code it's barfing on. I can't even use page up or page down in this menu. And what's our outs? I can't even use all the mouse cursor. I have to use the cursor keys. Float 3 1 0 0 specular equals float 3 0 1 0. Do you mind that? Does that work? Unexpected token. But I've commented everything out. What are you complaining about?
Is it a non-fungible token?
Very good, Brat. Undeclared identifier specular. Okay, well, it's the out. This does look like it will do it though. So this should get all of the lights, and then basically I just add them together. But I'm a bit confused why it's like. Have I just written the custom function wrong? Now I know the function. The function is called get additional lights count, and then it runs over and gets additional light index for that one. That's cool. Blah 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 blah. I don't want to write a whole. Unity, HDRP, custom. Oh, sorry. Custom node. Are you going to give me an example? Oh, right. No. I no. Okay. Oh my. You are joking me, right? You are fucking joking me. It's a fucking. What? It's a fucking graphic. I can't paste that into my.
Oh, you can on a Mac. On Macs now, you can just select text in images.
Really? Ooh, yeah. I've never seen.
That's weird.
Just view that page on your iPhone. You can select the text and copy it.
Surely not.
Not that I don't believe you, but
yeah,
really?
100%. Yeah, 100%. In fact, you can view a page on an iPhone that's got lots of images of text on it, and you can Control F and search within the pictures of text. It's brilliant.
No, I'm about to try it. So I've just pasted that into the Discord, and I'll open it on my phone.
Yeah, and then paste it back into Discord as text.
Yeah. Yeah, you're talking complete bollocks.
No, I'm not. I do it all the time.
Do it on that.
Where's the URL? Give me the URL for the page, and I'll do it for you.
It's in the Discord.
All right, okay. Let me just grab it. Which one do you want the text on?
Just the one that says the first one. My function float. Don't get me wrong. I want it to work because that'd be brilliant, but it just.
Hey, what version of phone do you have? Is it just a newer thing, or?
I'm doing it on my Mac at the moment. It did
SE2020.
actually miss out. Some of the text too light, unfortunately, but
that's amazing. But why doesn't my phone do it?
it does.
Well, it
In
doesn't.
fact, let me do it on my phone.
But it doesn't do it on my phone. I don't know why.
What phone have you got?
iPhone SE 2020.
Oh, maybe that's not good enough.
What?
Yeah, maybe.
That's not good enough.
Okay, so I've got. Oh right.
Yeah,
So
I'm doing it on my phone right now. I'll take a screenshot.
I wonder why.
But it misses out the very light text, unfortunately.
Oh, it's also missed out the curly braces, which is. And also, yeah, it's got it quite badly wrong. But it's cool that it even tries, because it should say.
Back screenshot.
Well, it should say out equals a plus b, and it says out equals atb.
Yeah. But the thought was there.
My function. Why has it got a float there? Oh, it's also missed out the underscore. Okay.
I think Android does this as well, by the way.
Well, it's a pity Chrome doesn't.
Maybe eventually.
Have I got it? Have I got it right now? I don't know why it says if and def my HLSL included. Oh, right, there's an underscore in that too. This user interface is absolutely one of the worst things I've ever used. It's genuinely atrocious, though. Void my function. I wonder if I have to put underscore float there for some reason. Unrecognized identifier. Oh, is that also got a underscores?
No, it's a massive time saver.
Yeah, it's been way quicker. If it worked, it would have. But why would you do that? Why would you put examples as a fucking picture in a tutorial?
It's really bad.
Oh, they do that a lot. It's really annoying.
I've never seen it before, or I would.
Really?
Yeah. Please give this page a rating. 1 star. Report a problem. Something else. Why
No, this page needs code samples.
Fuck do you have pictures for the code? Am I supposed?
But I am a
copy
blind
and-
programmer, and my screen reader has not helped me with this.
How can I use screen reader to read them?
How is Babby formed?
Sort this shambles out. To quote Ashens, Dr. Ashens, when he reviewed the Neo Geo Pocket, the Neo Geo joystick, he goes, this joystick is fucking shocking. And that is absolutely fucking shocking. That anyone would do that. They'd take a screenshot and paste it. So I was like, oh cool, I'll take this example. Yeah. Right, so I might just need to start again, because quite frankly, this has got out of hand now. Anti-copy? Anti-copy? This is the documentation.
Oh God, I didn't realise it was the documentation. I thought it was some fanboys.
No!
Site. Oh wow.
Can I tell it to make that? Yep. Alright, screw that. Let's just do it that way. So I can just say, input, none. How do I get rid of this? Output, Vector 3. Now I know what the function's called. It shouldn't be too bad. Like now I know how, because all I have to do, hopefully I can just say that. Is that going to give me an error? And how did I return? Outputs is called outcall. So I just say, oh my god, this is the worst. I understand now why they expect you to use
to be fair to that feature, the things that it was missing a light grey text on a dark grey background. It's not really clear to the human eye either.
Well, also it got confused at the underscores and got confused at the plus, but it's expecting text, isn't it, rather than anything else.
Well, it's fine with the underscores where they're white on grey, but there's not enough contrast.
The example above generates the following function. I understand why they didn't want me to paste it, but that's just not the point. Right, so that's created a function, but now it's telling me get additional light. Oh, right, so get additional light counts is erroring. Okay, does this exist in HDRP? It should do. In fact, that's the function there. Vertex lighting is doing it. But I want to skip part of it, you see. I want all of the bits up to the lighting Lambert. Lambert? Is it Christopher Lambert or Christopher Lambert?
He's French, isn't he?
He is. So I don't know why. Wait, this is universal. I said HDRP. I don't want URP. Great. There aren't any great matches for my search. Brilliant. HDRP shader getting all lights custom function. That's the same bloody page again, isn't it? God damn it. The thing that annoys me is I'm not trying to do anything complicated here. All I want is for particles to be lit from all directions. Maybe I can say particles not lit from again. Alright, let me skip HDRP a moment. Particles are only visible in the light. Well, yes. Particles are black from one angle and normal from another. Don't use the word normal there.
Oh, I came across this one. His solution was make them unlit. He talks for the top solution is like paragraphs upon paragraphs of have you set up your lights properly, and at the end he just says set standard unlit.
How does that help?
It doesn't.
So give up, in other words.
Well, it's all right as long as you don't mind the particles. But like an explosion is fine, but I want something that's lit by the light. Particles black from the back. Unity. Come on, what's the search term? What do I need? There's no way I am the only person to... Well, I'm not, but one guy just went... HDRP, shader graph, sampling right... Custom pass, light intensity... When I said sampling, I meant sampling, not sample. You want to get good at programming? Get good at Googling.
True.
Procedural stochastic text string prototype? I don't know what that means, but it sounds interesting. Yeah, here's the space to ask questions. Here's the best question. What is procedural stochastic texturing? Oh, it's to do with tiling textures. It's nice, though. Like, it means you can tile a texture randomly, but not randomly.
Ooh, that's quite nice, actually.
It is rather nice. In fact, I'm going to I've come across this page before, but it basically, it's a step up from trilinear, but it means you can just texture stuff. So you've played games with triplanar shading, Icarus, and it looks shit from a bunch of angles. This solves that.
Yeah. I imagine this is quite good for, like, when you, like, tile, like, a floor of area, so that when you see it from, like, up high, it doesn't look like it's tiled. At least not as badly, anyway.
Unity particles dark from behind. Particle system rendering is dark when looking at the light source. Yep.
That looks like it.
I think you may have a double-sided brackets lit shader, so the face is looking away from the light source. Try an unlit shader instead.
Right. That's always the suggested solution. It's just, just give up.
The thing is,
don't like it.
the problem is, I have repeatedly searched for issues with the Unity, and there's one thing worse. There's only one thing worse than someone going, "Oh, I found the solution, never mind," and not telling you. And that is when you come across me from 5 years ago going, "Did you find a solution?" There's not on the last fucking post.
No, the worst thing is when you give someone the solution, apart from the very last step, because it's fucking obvious, and then they go, "Oh, don't worry, I figured it out," because they, as you expected, intuited the last step. Don't worry, I've done it now.
The Chrome.
Did you go with a non-stupid solution?
Yeah, I'll use unlit. I mean, that's the issue summed up better than I could have. This is supposed to be something non-lit. I mean, it's okay if they aren't lit, but I need them to be affected by local light sources. Dark particles, black particles. Particles only visible in the light. Like, that's just such an idiotic question I need to search.
Not possible and doesn't make sense. Quite a good question. It didn't happen.
Yeah, and the other solution I keep finding with my Googling is people saying use a screen space effect.
That doesn't make any sense. Anyone who says that doesn't understand. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Because screen space, that's like bloom or motion blur or something.
Well, apart from the snow in what do you call it, SnowRunner.
Yes, which is brilliant. Someone did just said use a vertex lit shader, but I might have one. Like,
Not HDRP compatible though.
Yeah. But I could probably go back to that shader. Node settings, material, because there is stacklit. So stacklit is the transmissive stuff, but I have a funny feeling this is way too expensive to consider. Did it solve the issue? No, not slightly. No, I don't need to write my own pipeline. I'm sure that there is ability to get all lights within HDRP. The problem is this is a very expensive effect at this point. Let me go back from stacklit to lit, and let me just do. I genuinely love the. I'll just turn off the lighting on the shoulders then. Like that's.
Just turn it off.
So hold on. I have a shader that renders particles, and they are lit by light sources, but I can only see them when the camera's faced the same direction. Right. How do I see the lit particle wherever the light source comes? Right. Here we go. The keyword uses a translucent material output. Right. I don't know what that means. And the proper dispersion profile from it. Can you please explain your solution again? Because translucent, so the reason I didn't search translucent is not a word you'd use. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a Unity term. It's not a rendering term. It's more like to do with, fancy panes of glass.
Yeah, I did say it's the first
Yeah.
word I'd Google for
Yeah.
because it describes what you're trying to achieve.
To use a translucent material output. Unity dispersion profile. Scholarly articles. No. Does he mean a diffusion profile? For fuck's sake. Unity HDRP diffusion particles. Oh, that's a very pretty GIF. Not sure what it's supposed to show, but it's very nice. Lit outputs are very supposed to be.
It's meant to distract you from the fact there's not a solution on the page.
Oh my lord. So this isn't documentation. This is just tooltips written out all in a row. Here we go. Okay. So we might actually be onto something, but this might only be for the new... Oh man, looks like I might have to do an effect. Should we try? Because it looks like I've got distracted completely. So I don't know how these work. So we're going to go on the adventure together. So those are the old particles. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a... Now instantly, none of my code will work this. I will need to rewrite all of my particle manager code. But hey, and we're going to add an visual effect, which for some reason is a little picture of a fucking magic lamp.
Yeah, I've never understood that. I guess it's just meant to be like, oh, it's magical kind of thing.
Okay, so we'll call these... what's it called again? Visual effect. Smoke particles. Oh, I've got a white screen. Oh, yeah, I remember. So this is how they expect you to do it. Now, do you notice anything missing on this screen? Oh yes, the ability to see anything I'm doing.
Is it a terrible tab? Is it the blackboard that you're looking at the moment? Can you just pull that down on the right hand side? There you go.
Wow, it seems to be putting out a lot of clocks. Yeah, but I'm running at 1440p, and I apologise to you watching on the stream. I can't read that. In fact, if I make it so I can read it, it no longer fits on the screen. And I get this with shader graph. You sometimes have to zoom in and out constantly, going, there is a very bad waste of space. Okay. How do I set the... Let me just save that and go back. Can I set the particle...
You know, under blend mode there, is it? It won't be the blend mode.
I need to work out how to get a texture on there first. Create node. Text. I'll tell you what, I wonder if they've got the examples. Unity, what's it called? Visual effect examples. They might actually have done a bunch. But these are GPU based. So that is good. Just give me a download button. Oh, it's in the package. Okay. They love their packages. Unity is now a jigsaw of stuff rather than one monolithic thing.
Ironic calling it Unity then.
It is, yes. Samples. Yeah. I don't know what output event helpers are, but hopefully there's something a little bit like smoke here I can use as a base.
So in addition to the icon for it being a genie's lamp, is the default to have particles floating upwards from it like that. Was that the?
Apparently, yeah. This looks like the old one, but
Oh, well,
I assume it's a clock because I don't have a. It's showing me the axes it's using. It's green for up and red for X,
Right.
which is fine. It's just that I don't really understand. Here we go. We do have a demo called Smoke. Let's have it there.
Magic genie smoke.
Magic Genie Smoke. Green Smoke. Which I notice is not outputting anything.
You got to rub the lamp.
Oh, you asked me the question recently about a program where the play button represents the next state, not the current state. Do you remember?
Who did? Vaguely.
You did. So almost everything, it shows play if you're currently playing and shows pause if you're currently paused.
Oh yeah.
Disney Plus shows the state it will change into if you click on it.
Right.
I knew there was something because you asked me and I'm like, I don't remember. One bar barn, bear in mind I only even really learned about this recently. Why is there no smoke? Spawn rate.
Are those buttons that say play look like functions, play and stop? Look lower down. I need to play that. Are those buttons as well?
Yeah, but this dialog box has play, pause, and then oh no, it goes for Dark One. I was really expecting more things to be happening than this. Or maybe I need to take the effects. Maybe it's be lit. Aha! There we go. Now we're cooking with evil gas. Right, so let me make a copy of that one so we don't mess that one up. Oh, why is it going slower? Why was it going ultra mega fast and now it's going at sensible speed? Unity. Right, so here will be my smoke. Well, first of all, should we see if this already solves the issue? I suspect it won't. But
I'm going to dip for a bit.
Okay. Thank you for popping by. But it'd be nice to think it does solve the issue.
Hopefully this works.
Is it because I changed this? Oh, I changed the rate. Right, sorry. When it said rate, I thought that meant emission rate, not playback rate.
Disney Plus, when it's paused, has got a play button, and then you press that and it turns into a pause button.
Yeah, it's the opposite of DLC. So it's not showing you the current state, it's showing you the next state.
Opposite of what? VLC?
It's opposite of everything else ever, which always shows you the current state, not the next state. Suddenly I wonder if I've just got everything I said exactly the wrong way around.
Yeah, I think so. I think Disney Plus looks like everything else. Which means still lacking an example of something that doesn't work that way.
Yeah, so VLC, if you're paused, it shows the play button, and if you're playing, it shows the pause button. Disney Plus,
Yeah, same as Disney Plus.
on the Xbox, I can't comment anywhere else. On the Xbox, it's arse backwards.
Right, well, it sounds like they've got something else backwards then. Sounds like a bug.
That might be a bug. Okay, so first question then. If I create a very bright small red light and bring it over to the smoke. So that smoke, is it lit? I can't tell. Totally not, is it? It's near something red, but it's not actually being lit red. Okay, so I click on the genie's lamp. Oh god, it goes full screen every time. Now, don't get me wrong, I love shader graph. Shader graph, I've been doing shaders for 25 years. It made, I don't know what it's doing now, but shader graph made everything I have spent 25 years learning obsolete overnight, and it's brilliant, and I love it. It is amazing. This, on the other hand, is not. Yeah, Wombat Burn. I assume that rate in that case meant speed of spawning. You know, rate of spawning, not playback speed. If you try again. Is it because it's playing in the background, do you think? And as I click on stop, it doesn't do anything. Oh, there we go. That does. Okay. If anyone has any great ideas why my video capture card keeps going, what? I'm all ears, but I really don't know. I think I might just need to get a chunkier cable and make it shorter. I really don't know. But this isn't working.
USB one?
No, it's HDMI.
Yeah, but how do you get the data into the computer? Many of the capture cards I've seen are connected to
HDMI. Like it's just HDMI. Like it talks over HDMI. But bear in mind, I'm seeing the image that the capture card puts out when it can't do anything. But I don't know why. I also struggle. I've got all sorts of issues with this capture card.
The question was, how do you get data from the capture into the computer? Is it a card or an external box?
It's an external box.
So is it connected by USB?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's USB 3.
You might be overloading your USB port, or rather the controller.
It's unlikely.
Remember, USB doesn't have a priority-based data transfers. It just takes it in a row. So if there's something else that's taking up time, that could be messing with your capture card.
This is a dedicated computer that does nothing but...
Yeah, check your IRQs.
What year do you think it is?
I was being ironic.
How do I stop this? Oh, there we go. What did I click on? Oh, I think I unticked auto. Right. This is awful, having to zoom in and scroll around. The other thing is, hey, let's search for... Oh, I can't search.
Someone designed this after watching Minority Report.
Output particle octagon. I just want to make the particle bigger. That's my first step. Do they really think this is easier? This is the other thing. In the old particle system, I can just drag the numbers around and it changes. Maybe if I do this. But no, it looks like here, even if I do change something, it's going to sit there and twiddle for a couple of seconds. Capacity 128, bounce, set position, velocity, lifetime. Force, right, that's the wibbly wobbly up. There's the flip books. This is fucking awful. I don't want to have to sit here and learn an entire system. I just want something a bit like the old system, but better. Right, here we go. Size over life is exposed, it says. Aha. Why do I have to tick it? What's the tick box for? Why is it not an inline curve? Why can I not set the top of the... Is it just me? It's usually going backwards at times. The idea is...
Now you're being a stick in the mud. You need to embrace newfangled stuff.
Yeah, well, the problem is, this is aimed at artists. This is so artists can mess around with stuff without having to write code. And I get that, but I'm not even sure artists would be particularly happy with that. I think, is that picking up some red? I think it might be. Bit hard to tell. Let me turn off all the lights for a moment and see if it goes black. It does not.
Is that an animated texture on those particles?
Yes, yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got some really nice ones. I always use them because they always look better.
Look better than the old spinning ones, that's for sure.
You can do really nice animated ones. I mean, the ones I've got, they're about half a gigabyte each. They're enormous textures, hundreds of megabytes, but they look fantastic, so I nearly always use them. Blend mode, alpha. Right, so now I need to go back to output, lit, material type. This is the output menu path, context output, which would be this. Material type, which I'm not seeing. Blend mode. Alpha's fine. Why is it? Do I have to add it to the? Is it context? Was it? No. Type. All I want is the particles to be slightly see-through with a red light behind them to still be right.
You know that bit where you've got add block above this? What can you add?
Well, that's just where I press spacebar.
No, like if you scroll up a bit. You can add in additional blocks, right?
I'm not sure I can. Like, well, maybe, but I want to set the output. The output particle. I don't know why it's got the word octagon there. That has confused me. I assume I need to add a thingamajig inside here. Output. Attribute. I love there's no pictures. For something that's purely shader based, it's just text.
Well, earlier you were complaining that it was pictures instead of text. Now you want the moon on a stick.
Yes. So the material type has to be translucent or simple lit translucent. But I don't get that. I'm just getting blend modes. And that's the other thing. There's something they've just chucked away all of Unity's material stuff. They've just gone, oh, we're not doing that anymore. What do you mean you're not doing that? No, we're not doing that. We're not doing materials. Suddenly we're having everything live inside the visual effect. As I said, the visual effect could be very, very, very good because it's pure GPU. It's all compute shader stuff. It will be really quick. That's cool. If I could just work out how to use it. No, see, you don't use shaders, Wombat Bro. Shaders. There are no shaders for this. It all works inside this stuff here.
Are you only left clicking on that UI, by the way? Or?
Now, if I right click, it's got. I mean, create block just brings up the same thing. That's the same as the short space bar. Convert output. Oh, right. So the fact it's an octagon is because it's not a quad. It's an octagon. I suppose saves a little bit of fill rate.
Saves fill rate.
Yeah, because you're assuming it's a round-ish particle, you'll save a bit of fill rate. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you're using up warp verts to do it. Let's try this other particle system. So we've got a fire. I love their scale, by the way. This bonfire effect. Can I just scale it? Oh, I can just scale it. Okay, I've got to give it that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you can just scale the gizmo earlier, but scales the whole thing, including how far they spread.
Yes, it doesn't seem to
Not
scale.
just particles.
Well,
you just want to change the size of the particle.
Yeah, I bet you that's a flipbook as well. But here, I'm looking at this bonfire thing. This has got even less options.
Do you?
When I hit edit, Oh my lordy. This is the thing. I have found with shader graphs, the moment they get complicated, it gets really horrid. But this is a completely different look to it.
Yeah, but you are just used to thinking in lines of code, and as you say,
I adapted to shader graph
design.
very quickly though. Like very. I love shader graph. It's brilliant. This, on the other hand, is, how can I put it? It's like, so when you do particles, there's a bunch of things you always do. If I look at the old particle system, like, it's very straightforward because it has all the things you might want to do here. Color, emitter speed, size, light. It has all the things you want to do. Brilliant. So I can just go, I want to do this, I want to do this. But with the effect system, I seem to have to invent the wheel every time from start. And that's what I don't understand. So I have to create something called random direction over time. I have to add a Perlin noise. Like, what? Why would you do this? Just say the old system had this. I don't know why you would want to do these. But oh, there's a subgraph for the. Now this is bad. See, underneath each of those. Oh, let me untake auto. And then we're back down to this thing. The fact they've made it full screen like this is also just terrible. I would hate to try and run this at 1080p. But this doesn't appear to be lit either, this smoke. Okay, HDRP, translucent smoke visual effect. Because if I can just start to grab a few, it's fine.
Let's learn how to make fire and smoke.
And this is the other thing, I'm not sitting here and watching a 14-minute video where I'm gonna have to squint. I hate these so much. I just absolutely cannot put into words how much I hate watching YouTube videos, tutorials about things. I might have to.
Although sometimes Google search is a bit better these days. Like, you can, as your search result, you'll get a YouTube video, and it will find your search terms in the subtitles, auto-generated or otherwise, and clicking on your search result will take you to that part of the video, which is quite good for tutorials and stuff.
Oh, can it search? Is it searching the closed captions?
Yeah, but I don't know what makes it do that. Like, I just get it in my Google results sometimes.
So with here, I just want to download your effect and just see, because kind of does look like it might be lit. Oh no, he's just fading it, which is.
Also make it green for another kind of look. And you can see just how easily we can change this effect to give it here. But let's set the radius of this sphere to 0.2.
Oh, that looks very nice. Like, that's got. I'm not actually sure that's lit.
We can go ahead and create a multiply color node.
But I can't. It says I can download the textures. I don't want the textures. Just want your. Oh, brilliant. oc.unity3.com is unable to handle this request. Okay. Would you like another go? Nope. No, not happening. Brilliant. And what if it's on their website somewhere? This appears to be weapons. Oh, that gun looks quite nice. Browse. Not any of these things. This is all very nice, and in fact, I might come back and see what they've got. But make a game, course assets. No, I don't want to make. I just want to have a look at how someone else has put together a shader graph, and sort of go from there. But I can't find their. Maybe it's on their old site.
You need a size block. There's size blocks and velocity blocks.
Well, no, what I need to do is I need to work out how to change the output of the smoke subgraph to be translucent and then have a dispersion profile. Well, I'm happy with the particles to say. It's just the lighting. I want to solve the lighting issue, and at that point, it's all nice and easy. I now know enough to understand how... Wait. So here, it's this random wind direction over time, which is for some reason... Yeah, I can just go that there we go. That will no longer blow around now. Good Lord, look how long that takes. There you go, then I'll go straight up. I wouldn't have them as one visual effects graph that does 3 things either. That's a very odd way of doing things because it means you don't have all the control you want. And then the smoke effects one here. Size over life. Why can't I edit the tops and bottoms of these? Normally you can edit the limits, but here I just have to sort of drag that up and drag. The worst thing is I can't look on the right hand side and do it as I'm doing this. So normally I can grab a slider and drag it and watch the effect. 7 seconds when I make a change to particles to get feedback, as opposed to 0 seconds. Then I can go to this subgraph, which mostly appears on a different screen. Untick auto, because that breaks. The problem is that Unreal uses this stuff, and that's why Unity does it. I don't think this is better than the old system. I think they should have just made it so you use the same interface that we've been used to and has done me proud for a long time, and then under the hood convert that across to compute shaders. But it boils down to this is still outputting an alpha blended thing. Whereas what I want to do is output a it's because this dialog box here, context output, context menu path, context output. This is an output data octagon, not an output particle lit. Can I just drag this in? It'll go, hey, you want to do that? No. What's flip? Wait. Well, this has got flipbook, and this doesn't.
What's flipbook? Is that the animation?
Yeah. But from here... Oh, this actually just appears to be all exactly the same stuff again. Why is the base color map? For 4 seconds that time. I can't tell that's working. Maybe I have to compile. Oh yeah, there we go. We got teeny tiny broken lighting particles. But this doesn't have the lit option either. Material type, context. See, what's a context? I understand what a context menu is, but what's a context in this case?
In this context.
Thank you. Name context. Oops. So
Out of curiosity, if you add a block, is there a size option there? Like,
yes.
Because I keep reading about screen space. Yeah, screen space size. So.
Yeah, that means I could just set it, the pixel to be a certain... Because we did have here, set size over life. But, so the output particle octagon had set size over life. But if I do size...
You do screen space size.
And I can do that one, okay. Did I just click on the wrong place? That seemed to be an awful lot more options. Create node, flipbook, size, property texture. But I kind of just assumed I'd just be able to hook it in. This is the thing. It doesn't know what this is, so it can't smartly create it when I drag it in.
You can drag it to the labels that have the box next to them, though, can't you?
Well, yeah, I could.
Smoothness.
Yeah. Is that Devtron? Is that you typing, or is that?
Sorry, I thought I was muted.
You definitely don't have.
Oh, it was you.
First
of all, you don't have a mechanical keyboard.
No. You definitely do not
Definitely
have
you were
crisp turned
dragging the
on.
mouse at the same time.
Yeah, you
No, I remember I turned it off because it had issues.
I think what it is, that hiss we were hearing, was it getting rid of your keyboard sound. It's better.
Give me a second, I'll try.
It's better to have mild hiss than clang, bang, 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 bang. Your next door neighbours must hate you.
Let's try. It's not registering my with it on. It's not registering my keyboard whatsoever. But now it's turned. Kiss turn on again.
Yeah, now crisp is brilliant. I highly recommend it. If anyone has any great ideas, by the way, other than press space, because I know that. So I want to add in flipbook size. And that does not seem to be a parameter. Can I copy paste those? I can. Oh, I can copy paste that. And I can copy paste that. Right, that's good. And I should better hook those up. But this is... hold on. I have to hit UV mode, flipbook blend. There we go. Right, so now I can hook flipbook up. And use soft particles tick. Soft particle fade distance. Main texture. Size over life.
DJ?
Shame it's just not an option for lit and unlit and just have one output octagon.
Yeah, as I said, the issue is that it doesn't really understand what it's doing. It's abstracted everything to the point where it doesn't really know what the fuck's going on anymore. So hopefully I can delete that and everything should be hooked up. So all I've done, literally all I've done, is effectively tick the box marked lit. I mean, I can't see the particles anymore, which is a bit of an issue. And because they're GPU, I can't even, I can have that nice outline. Can't do that anymore because it's a pure GPU effect. Unity doesn't even understand this. That exists.
So you're saying like this graph UI is just sort of it automatically generated on the fly from the spec. So it goes, right, this value, it has a range, so I'll make a slider.
Yes. Yeah, it's completely abstracted, which is very cool. And at the same time, look, you're doing particles, mate. You're not doing AI or something. But now I have the issue, it's not rendering anything, and I've literally zero idea why. Now, how do I
Question for you two.
Hmm?
How's the weather outside the windows at the moment?
Rainy, probably.
Oh, the news just said you've been hit by a storm, the one we were about to be hit by.
Oh my good Yeah, I'll pop a picture up on the stream. Thank you for it, Izzard. So we have a place in the UK called the O2, which is a huge outdoor arena in London, and it's just been destroyed. And what was the other one someone linked? A spire got blown down in Somerset, which has been
Those seats we're looking at through the roof there, or lighting gantry or something.
Well, skip that bit. Look at the picnic tables in the bottom left to give you an idea of the scale. Like, those are seats. I suspect it could be lighting gantry, but yeah.
There is video of this, so that was just a screen grab.
Yeah. And then St. Thomas Church. It was built in the 1850s. So this is the thing about climate change. I wish it was global warming. Global warming's fine. I think the issue behind climate change is that we will end up with more extreme weather events. For example, churches that have been standing for hundreds of years get blown down. As is what happened today. I mean, you know, the Millennium Dome's been up 23 years, 24 years.
To answer your question, I'm in the southeast of England, and I'm so far, touch wood, both my garden fences are intact. However, my neighbours on either side of me have both lost their fence completely.
So you mentioned shaders. So if I go to the project view and I open up inside here, so each output, each visual effect has a shader that it's made itself and a bunch of code. Now the issue I have with this, as I said, it's the iteration time. Now this is what really disappoints me. Nobody asked for a situation where we are waiting for 7 seconds for an iteration. This is too much. That is 1,000 times too slow. I need to be able to tweak stuff in real time. So what they've done here is absolutely appalling. I mean, unfortunately, I might have to use it. Now, once I've got smoke kind of working, I can just use it in future games. I love how broken that is. Something's obviously changing somewhere along the lines. So why can't I see my particles? I guess is the next question. So Fire Smoke is playing smoke. I'll tick the spawn rate. I'll click play. Size over lifetime. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's interesting. I think that might... So it's not working yet, but I can at least see the particles now. Go away, dialog box. Thank you. Right, so I need to change the lighting to be transparent. And it told me in the documentation that we've all seen, in a different window. I really wish, by the way, I could have just used get all lights. That would absolutely have solved this without having to bugger about all this crap. This is the thing. I don't want to have to do this shit. This is why I use Unity, so I can just go add transparent smoke. Done. Not what am I messing around with? So, context settings. This is output lit, quad, mesh, strip, etc. Cool. Oh, maybe now I can add one called material type. No. It says this is an inspector thing. Ah. So this is a completely different dialogue. So if I click fire smoke, they don't appear. I have to go to the... I can't hit edit. I have to click on it within... Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay. So when I hit edit... Nope, that's not done it as well. How the hell did I get that dialog box back here?
You're going to end up re-watching your own stream.
Oh my... So, as I said, this pops up full screen like that. So, it looks like there's a whole bunch of extra bits and bobs that hide in the inspector. That's insane. But when I open up this one, it then lets me set material type. Simple lit translucent sounds good to me.
Yeah. That sounds excellent. We're all about lit translucency.
Only I could see my particles. Do you know, no. Yeah, maybe this will turn into a game. At the minute, this has turned into a due diligence exercise about Unity's brand new visual effects system. Which is good and all, but not really what I wanted. I might have to change the particles because these are very, very dark. And that's not how you spell compiled. Let's do that one. How many is that? It's 12 by 12, I think. No, 16 by 16. Still no. I'm a bit confused. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 8 by 8. Well, I'm glad you think it's fair enough. That wasn't my plan for the day, but I'm learning stuff I didn't really want to learn. I do like learn. Oh, that looks... Oh. That looks better, I think. Maybe, maybe not. It doesn't appear to be so brutal, but that might be the fact it's inside. So let me turn off the volumetrics from that light. Okay, it was just the volumetrics making it look right. Volumetrics on. Volumetrics off. Let's keep them off a moment. So the issue is that we're trying to resolve was that. I mean, that looks super cool, but that's mostly to do with the angle of the light rather than... That's kind of the effect I'm going for. Kind of. So I need to click on fire smoke and then edit and then wait. Do you know, no, that's fine. I do need to do more dev streams. The problem is I keep working on stuff that I don't feel is ready to show. This is so early. I mean, I started this project today. This is so early. No one is going to go, oh, cool, this is a game that's coming out soon. So this is just an experiment. I've got a cool idea. Unfortunately, I have been sidetracked by... I don't understand a lot of stuff in Unity. The new stuff, which is very important because what I'm doing is it's called due diligence. This is making sure I understand how I'm going to do stuff for Fortress Craft 2. Because this will be Fortress Craft 2's rendering engine is this. And as you may have worked out, I've no idea how a lot of this works. And I do need to. Right, diffusion profile. How do I create a new diffusion profile? Create... Oh my god. I might have to grab one of the existing ones and edit it. So these dialog boxes for create have now got insane. To the point I can barely find anything in them. So if I take skin... Ugh, and I... grab the... Oh. I'm already beginning to get a little bit worried. So this is the state-of-the-art rendering, though. This is proper AAA high-end. So if I call this smoke diffusion profile, and then click back on this. No, don't drag it. Click on it. Thank you. Oh, it's compiling it, right. Shows the fraction of light scattered from the source center. The distance to the boundary of the image contains the max radius. Note the intended pixel around center may be clipped. Why is it red? Why is my scattering distance kind of a pink color? Oh, because it's skin. Let's make it white. Transmission mode, thin object. Because this is brightly lit. The point is it should be allowing the light through. Texturing mode. Post scatter? No. World scale? Nope. Just to check. This is doing something, right? None of this is making any difference to the point I'm wondering if it's using it. Fire smoke is using smoke. Smoke is... Please hold. Then it breaks and I have to click on auto. And then I am using the smoke diffusion profile. Maybe I have to use... No, because it has popped up. Let me just try translucent a moment. Because I was expecting some difference when I started buggering about with... That isn't even making any difference. Yeah, but I mean, some of the most demanding games out there are written in Unreal and Unity. I mean, Icarus would be a good example. Well, a better thing to say is well-written games should not require a beefy computer. This one might. What if I click on the help dialog? Use the color picker to select the shape and blur radius of the diffusion profile. Defines how far light travels below the surface. This affects the color bleeding and blurring behavior of subsurface scattering. Right, but black is... My choice is a color. What the hell? Why was that different distance? Right, so thin object is the correct one. This is a lot of the problem with the Unity stuff. This is not documentation. This is index of refraction, sets the index of refraction. Max radius, sets the max radius. This is very, very unhelpful. And I have zero idea on the performance impact of this, by the way. Absolutely none. Now I wonder if I have not enabled this in the render pipeline. Also, please note that I have got these huge dialogues with hundreds of pop-outs and no search function. Screen space reflection. Material. Subsurface scattering. You see, I really worry subsurface scattering is a ray-based effect, but and will kill my performance. Easy, thank you. Multiply thickness with alpha. No. I'm a bit concerned that nothing I seem to do is making any difference. Oh, so here I can set the different types. I can set triangles, or quads, or octagons. That's nice. So I can actually twiddle with some things. But when I get it working, it should look like that, which would be awesome. I wonder if it's the alpha. Color over life. I've now made the particle more transparent. No, that didn't make any difference. Oh, that's interesting. The undo does not work on that. What if I have to save? I haven't hit save in a while. I also have the issue that I'm now at the point where the number of people who would have any clue what the hell I'm doing is dropped to very small. But I don't understand why none of this is making any difference at all. Like, I put some stupid numbers, I would expect something to go wrong. Or change, or something. Let me just try making a cube a moment. Oh, I used the cube. Can I just put the fire texture on that? Go away, you. Because that does have a shader, but not material. Okay. And smoke is not something I could assign to this cube. No. Worth a thought. The thing I dislike about this is I'm going to have to fiddle with this till it works. And in the future, it will happen again. And I'll have to fiddle with it for slightly less time till it works. And I dislike having to just throw time at things. I was hoping just to get on with the idea. I have an idea for the visual look of this game. So unfortunately, lit particles is very important. For those of you who missed it earlier, I will quickly show you the reason that I care so much about using HDRP, which is these fantastic volumetrics. So Fortresscraft 2 should all be volumetrics like this. I'm hoping to use RTX, I'm not sure yet, but I want fancy lighting, fancy reflections, all that sort of lovely, glorious stuff. As you can imagine, your ore extractor, you can't see it, but you can see the light it's creating in the haze. It's very important that when you're standing behind it, it's not bloody black.
I stepped away for a minute. Is that the visual effect now showing the same issue?
Yes, which is fine. That's what I'd expect. But I've now worked out how to get to the lighting. So I'm on simple lit translucent. I'll change it to a quad, so I can flip between quads and octagons. I've worked out how. And then I get the smoke diffusion profile, which is a profile I copy-pasted from the skin. And then, please wait, so it's compiling it. So then I was expecting just to faff with this until it went see-through. But in fact, none of these things seem to do anything. Like, nothing here does anything. And I'm like, it was very much
because this is the diffusion profile, right?
This is the diffusion.
Could be the right context.
This context is looking at the smoke diffusion profile.
So knowing nothing else, I'm guessing that profile isn't associated with it. Like, say it's looking at it, but it's having no effect, right? Nothing you're changing is affecting it.
That is correct. I mean, I can point it at something else because I've got skin. Like, none of these do. Like, there's not even a hiccup or a pause. Like, I would expect something.
Do you have to instantiate the profile?
No, I just point at it. I mean, I can now click compile this way and then save. But I don't know what the correct settings are within the diffusion profile. This dialogue is quite frankly awful. Because what you do, you're setting up for how far light travels through something, a thick object, how much of its power it loses. And I'm really concerned this is an outrageously expensive effect, but I'll cross that bridge when we come to it, because GPUs are cheap. I'm happy to do it post-scatter. I'm happy to do it pre- and post-scatter. I don't know what any of these numbers do. But yeah, I mean, if I put the camera in the right place, that would actually look quite cool.
My brief reading of the documentation was that the profiles just give you sort of global settings so that you can point multiple emitters and so on at the same profile and affect things globally.
You could do. I can put that into a global profile, or I can override that. So I don't know what my density volumes subsurface scattering profile. I don't think I've got one set up, but this thing would override that. So here, this is.
And why are you sure it's picking that up? Why are you sure it's associated with that profile?
Because when I click on the, so let's start at the top. So fire smoke is looking at asset smoke. If I click edit on smoke, I get a dialog box in the way. I get here. If I then click on the output particle lit quad, I get the thing. So I could set this one to standard. Again, I was really expecting it to change. Like really, I'd expect at least a hiccup. Like, why is it not doing anything? But if I change it to standard, if I change it to specular color and then hit save, surely I'll see something different. Well, it disappears. I guess that's a start. Oh, and it's compiling. There you go. So I've changed the lighting mode entirely to specular color. So that is acting differently. That's fine. But I want translucent. So I'll use expensive translucent. So I'll hit save, then compile. So that means that I'm now using a translucent material. But in real time, that should look at the smoke diffusion profile. I can't think of any reason I would have to...
And yeah, this all looks really cool, apart from...
That's actually... Yeah, all very cool apart from... It's wrong?
Well, I was going to say, it's all very cool apart from it does the thing that you were showing us right at the start about you move and the lighting changes.
Why green? Green was what it was.
So why did that go green when you moved? I mean, what?
Well,
and then you changed it to green.
Well, yeah, but it's not. So what you've got is you've got the specular lit, and then you've got the I'll say ambient lit, and then this almost looks like a negative color. Like is this the opposite of green or something?
Well, so like the smoke has filtered it.
Yeah, which is fine. Only I've set this to grey. I don't have very many diffusion profiles in the game. I'll just choose a different one a sec. So I could say be made out of skin.
And is it just is this diffusion setting, is it just a color or can you set luminance as well?
I can set which... there we go, so that has changed. So that's chosen skin, and that is now the skin diffusion profile. But...
Alright, which is why it's kind of glowing at the edges, I guess.
Yeah, but the problem is with this, like, that looks alright, and that looks... It's kind of alright. I mean, that's kind of right, to a degree. But it's this halfway house. That's complete. That's just totally unfair.
Well, does the skin profile, does it have a kind of notion of feathering or the border, like the border thickness?
Well, I'm trying to work out why this bit's so weirdly wrong. Oh, hold on. That's nothing to... Let me turn off that light. So I don't think I've got any lights. Oh, that's this light causing. That's the spotlight. So the point light actually appears to be working correctly. At least to a degree. I mean, I'd want to make it more translucent, but I won't mess with that for them. But that's kind of what I want. If there's a bright red light behind the smoke, I want to see the smoke going through. That looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, it's not working with the spotlight. God. Turn the spotlight off a sec. Where is that? Let me turn the area light off first. Is it the area light causing me grief? Yes, it was the area light. Right, okay, so area lights don't seem to work with that. See, that looks... Oh, it's moody and atmospheric. I love it.
Why is this game so dark?
Right, so now let's have the spotlight. See, that's good. And I will also move the ceiling spot over. Be nice if they cast shadows, but you know, let's.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
It probably can. And see, that looks really good. I mean, even if it's skin. Yeah. Pop that back.
Well, so what are the options on this skin profile?
Well, what I might be able to do now is now put the translucent smoke, the smoke profile on, because the issue was the
area light.
Yeah. So now I need to fiddle. Well, what I could do is I can go to the skin profile. Oh, can I not copy all the? Are you fucking shitting me? Are you genuinely joking me? It doesn't have a copy. Fine. I will just recreate my one from scratch then.
Right, it's got to be that strip at the bottom of the settings, right? Is that? Are you able to drag that, or is it?
Yeah. Well, there's
like the gradient.
There's skin, and there's my one. But obviously, theirs is
are you able to change the gradient so that like?
The gradient is the output rather than the input, unfortunately. But let me just point at the smoke diffusion profile a second, because now I can copy paste. Right, so we are pointing at the correct profile. Now, if I change this, is it going to change in real time? Because if not, I'm going to get very angry. So I have to, after every change, hit save. Or hit compile. It's doing it again. Okay, so index refraction is, well, 1 is not making a particular difference. The only difference is I set it as a thin object rather than a thick object, because it should be a thin object, because thick objects like cast shadows on each other and stuff. So thin objects is designed for this, but it's still got this nasty camera relative bollocks. I think barring the mild colour bits, that's almost exactly the same. Would have thought this would have been easy. This should have been easy. And that looks super awesome. When it's like that and it's just about lighting, that looks great. But it's still way too directional. I want it to let through everything, which is either going to be white or black. Can only be one of the two.
Right, and that's just a point light source. So, are there any properties you can change about the point light?
No, not that's related to this. It emits light in all directions. I am kind of wondering if the issue is I've just got too many particles too dense on top of each other. So let's see if I can understand this.
Well, you can change the maximum thickness.
No, but remember, I might have 1,000 particles all on top of each other. I do want to stick with thin objects. I'm really, really, really want thin objects. A lot of the reason I ship games and other people's don't is just a complete and total bloody mindedness. Like, I'm not giving up, and it can't stop me. Right, so we do have a global force. So can I just make the smoke go up from the global force? Why has the smoke disappeared? Back. Okay. There we go. See, that's pretty... I'm liking it. That's what I want. That's the effect I want. But I want that effect to work no matter where the red light is. And no matter what I am in relation to the red light.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Yeah, because I mean, I can make it look good from certain angles. But at least...
And as you say, why have you not Googled this yet?
I have Googled it a couple of times.
No, I mean successfully.
Yes.
Not just...
Yeah. The thing is, the correct solution is the one I posited at the start, which is I should be able to sample the light from that point in the world and use that to light the vertexes. I will probably go back to that, as what we're doing here is proper rays and subsurface scattering. This is enormously expensive. I'm genuinely concerned this is something that will go, you know, a week down the line, I'll be like, half my GPU time is spent rendering the smoke. So I make the smoke really transparent. Seems to be something broken going on. Look, like, why is it suddenly stopped being lit?
Yeah, it gets darker when you put the light in it.
Yeah, but it's darker above the light and light below the light. This is a point, right? Yeah, just checking. Oh, right, but if I look... Yeah, so there you go. This is still the angle.
Oh my god.
It's still an angle thing. I love the way they've sort of said, use a diffusion profile to make this happen. Moving on, like, can you go back and tell me exactly how I... Yeah, uses a diffusion profile to simulate light passing through particles. Excellent. I love this. R defines how far the red light travels below the surface. Right, so is white, is bright red all the red, or black? Because this, to me, appears to be asked backwards. If I do white, it says, shows the fractal light passing through the object. It can be viewed as a cross-section of a slab material illuminated by a white light from the left.
Yeah.
So, let me crank that right up to just 100%.
Right, so it has no dark end.
Yes. Now I need to work out where the... See, I have to click on it there, and then click on edit, and then wait, and then click on auto, and then click on save.
For someone who wants to claw back every split second, I'm surprised you've got window animations turned on. All those little dialogues fading in and out. It'll drive me nuts.
What? No, that's Windows. That's Unity. That's the Windows. That's
Yeah, it's Windows.
That's a Unity dialog box, though.
But you've got your windows animating as well.
I'm not waiting for that. But do you mean that one there? The compiling.
Yeah. Well, it was just like popping multiple little progress bars up, fading in and out.
That's a bug. That's something to do with... I mean, I've already tweeted about it sarcastically. So that's... yeah, I've recorded it here. Yes, this. Oh, you mean the fade?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm surely the program's not waiting for the fade to happen.
Yeah, you'd think so, but bear in mind that the setting to turn that on and off is a Windows performance tick box. It's literally in performance settings. It's animate Windows minimizing is what it is, because that's what's happening. Is they're minimizing, therefore they're fading out, which is the modern way of animating and minimize.
Oh, I'm going to turn that off just because I'm curious. I'd love it. So show animations of
I'm curious as well.
I mean, I suspect the dialog box is appearing and it's been quicker. I mean, it's still a bug.
Is that setting the same thing, the one you just did?
It's not. No, it does seem to be fading.
If you press,
Wait,
if you press
off. That's still fading in and out though.
All right, just try this, would you? Just humour me. Just do Windows break
It's
and
back
go
on
to
again.
advanced. Yeah, just press Windows and break and then click on advanced settings.
Where's that under?
Did you press Windows and break?
Yes, advanced settings.
Okay, advanced system settings, right? Performance, and then fade.
Well, screw that. Adjust the best
Yeah,
performance.
do that. But it's the fade on minimize is what it is. Animate windows when minimizing maximum.
There's a couple of these I might need to turn on, like smooth edges of screen fonts.
Yeah. You have a sledgehammer approach. Shotgun approach.
I'm actually drinking lime Pepsi Max, which is very nice. Oh my word. My computer looks like it's a Windows XP with that on. Smooth scroll list boxes. I'm not sure what peak is.
That's when it's taskbar switching, isn't it? Showing you the previews of what you're about to alt tab to.
Well, it's doing exactly the same thing at about the same speed, but it's just much more ugly. So that's good.
Yeah.
Right, did that actually fix our issue? Oh. Actually, that one. No, I mean, a bit. So this light, by the way, is very big. This light is enormous. You see that big yellow circle? That's how far the light goes. It goes 70 meters. I wonder if this might be to do with the radius of the light. But that's still bollocks. So again, the particles below the light are facing the camera and therefore receiving the light. The particles above the light are not receiving any light because obviously the light's coming through. I mean, it did seem to be better. Bear in mind, once I got this right once, I'm going to use it for... I'm sorry about my capture card. I've no idea what's happening.
Discord, by the way, and there's no issues with the capture card.
Yeah, it's just the capture. I don't... My PC and the capture PC next to each other and use a much shorter HDMI cable. But I don't know that's the issue.
Yeah, but there's no problem in the Discord stream. What's happened? Is it only causing a problem on YouTube?
Yeah, well, it just pops up. I mean, I've got OBS up there and I can see it just says Elgato, no input. Elgato, no signal, and then comes back.
Why is that not happening? Is that because what I'm watching isn't using the Elgato?
Yeah, so what you're watching is just direct capture.
Okay.
So I guess the question is, so if I put it at the angle where it's annoying me, so right now it's very obviously got a cutoff. So if I go back to the smoke diffusion profile and make that, yeah, so this max radius shows effective radius in millimeters. The blur is energy perceiving. Yeah, this is way too complicated. It really is terrifying. World scale.
Yeah, because the fact it's going into subsurface scattering means you instantly know it's got to be barking at the wrong tree.
I mean, it is a way of doing it. My issue is this is a very slow way of doing it. Whereas what I want to do is just add up all the lights at this point.
Yeah, but you don't need that, right? Because for me that means things like when light is shining on skin, it spreads out through the skin laterally. Whereas this is not what you're trying to do. You're just trying to have light shining through something when the light's behind it.
Yes. I'm not trying to have light shining through it, because it does that. I'm trying to have it lit from the other side. I'm trying to have it take the... I just wanted to throw away all directional information. Let me just try...
Yeah. And the irony is, there are no direction settings. You know, in all those dialogues you're going through, it's got no mention of direction.
And the solution is, the correct one is the HDRP equivalent of get the lights. I just don't understand why it's not working. Like, I don't understand why that piece of code wasn't working. As I said, subsurface scattering should work. I should probably choose post scatter because that doesn't blur. If I get it right...
You might have to create a forum post and ask people.
If I get it right, so this is now... So this is what confuses me. Scattering radius 0 goes black halfway up. Scattering radius huge. Like, this is the biggest I can make it. I'm going to hit compile and save just to make sure. I don't know which one I'm supposed to press, you see. So that doesn't work.
Maybe you have to do save first, then compile.
I don't understand why they aren't making any difference at all. I would expect to see some difference in this. The problem is, it's just not working. This is just what's called PBR, which is a fancy term, means physically based rendering, which just is a fancy pants term for hand waving away specular power and specular size. This is not acting in a physical way. This is the problem. This is non-physical. Where's my what?
Sorry, where's your light at the moment? Is it this side of the effect or the other side?
It's bang in the middle, I think.
Okay, so if you push it back behind the particles.
Yeah, it's black.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I don't know why it's black. Well, it's black because it's not getting any light through, which is... Or it's
okay, just move your camera so you're looking sort of straight through the smoke at the light. Right, now do those settings affect it?
Well, the reason I had it there is because we have this clear delineation between above and below. Above and below have the same issue as in front and behind. But yeah, I can stick it there.
Yeah. I'm guessing that the settings you were just changing affect what happens with the light coming through it only. Because like when you changed it to skin, for example, it only affected what you see looking straight on like this.
Yeah.
When you move to the side, you get it going dark again,
yeah. And
therefore the split. So, you know, when you first made it go green, for example, you were kind of looking at it like this, and then when you moved around to 90 degrees on, it just went dark. Yeah. And none of the settings would have an effect then because it wasn't showing any green.
Now let me just put it back to skin a second. Let me just hit save and see if it changes. Well, it changed in the sense I can't see it.
Yeah, but you moved it right down to very low.
Now we let me hit compile. Yeah, but we're now back on the skin profile. The issue is...
It doesn't make any sense at all.
I don't know anyone I can talk to about this, so I am left with try A, try B, try A, then B, try C, try A, B, then C. mean, if I said
Yeah,
it to-
just find like Unity Reddit and just paste a link to this stream.
help.
Put help me.
Right, so this is the bamboo leaves. Oh, hold on, that actually appears to be. Again, that's right though. That's perfect. With that, there you go. Solved. All I need to do is use the bamboo leaf.
What the hell?
I don't know. But let's see what bamboo leaves is set up like, shall we? Because, again, I'm going to have to solve this issue again. So it's a thin object with a transmission tint of something with a remap value of 20. Again, if I just...
What about that pre and post?
It is in real time. Look. So there's the answer. I just need to make the thickness remap very small. So let's go back to the one that I got. I forgot the name of it. Smoke diffusion profile. What's this? Now, when I change the profile it's using, I do need to save it, it looks like. That's the first time I've twiddled anything that's had a real-time effect. So I've told it to be 25. And I kind of want this to be...
Yeah, but you also, you dragged that thickness remap value down low earlier and it didn't do it as well.
Oh, let's see what else is different in the bamboo profile. So bamboo is 16 pre and post scatter. Let's go to white. Let me just change one thing at a time. Actually, no, I shouldn't need to hit re-go. I'm pretty sure it is real time. Why does the bamboo one work and the rest don't? I'll tell you what. Let me just make sure there isn't something really. Let me make a copy of bamboo leaves, and then I will assign the copy of bamboo leaves, and then.
Are there more things below that?
Just debug readout looks. Oh, do you mean in the diffusion profile screen? I don't think
Yes.
so. No. Right, so
What makes it bamboo? Is it just the name?
It's just a demo profile. Can't believe it's taking 6. Well, that's not right again. So this is. So that's still borked. So this isn't bamboo. This is a copy of the bamboo one. So if I reassign the actual bamboo one, then save, I suppose. Right. So that's bamboo. I'm just going to duplicate that one. Well, anything else? Just going to duplicate it and assign the duplicate. And save. That's where I begin to wonder if there's something special about that file. Yeah, look. So that's right.
Yeah, so
all I've
it's
done
almost like...
is so let me reassign skin. We know how skin looked really cool. Yeah, so we can see that is it's wrong, but it's different. And it's not, you know.
Right. So the thing that skin's doing is it's making sort of light seep around the edges of it.
Yes.
Almost like the thickness is thicker in the middle and narrower at the outside edges.
Yeah.
It almost like there's a texture involved.
But the issue is if I now make a duplicate of skin and I'm going to rename it to face. Right. So I haven't changed it. I've just duplicated what you see on screen, and then I'm going to assign face because it's a great name, and I'm going to hit save. So as you can see on that, then it has to restart the particle system, and it's still compiling shader, updating assets, compile, 6. I haven't changed skin. All I have done is duplicated it. It's different in some way. The duplicate
There's more to it.
It's not acting.
It's linked to something.
Well,
It's linked to something that your duplicate isn't.
no, it's not though. There aren't any links in here. This is just.
Does the profile appear on the graph anywhere, or is it literally just that one line where it says profile? Which profile to use?
99% sure it doesn't appear anywhere here, because that's why it took so long to work out. Why it doesn't, I don't know, because I feel it should be here. I shouldn't have to be using the basic inspector. It should be under one of these things, but it's not.
Okay, and where did you get Bamboo from?
It just shit with Unity. It's just a demo one.
Yeah, so what is it though? Is it a file?
Yeah, it's a file.
So what happens if you duplicate the file?
Well, I did. Bamboo Leaves.
Oh, is that how you did it?
So Bamboo Leaves is my one, and Bamboo Leaves 1 is my copy. And they should be exactly the same.
I didn't see. Is that how you did it before? Okay.
Yeah, I just duplicated it. But the only difference, obviously, the GUID will be... Well, actually, the GUID looks exactly the same. It's a bit confusing. Yes, Fire Dragon. I'm very happy when I can just blitz through making shit happen as opposed to going, why is this wrong? But yeah, they are exactly the same. There's no difference between those whatsoever. There shouldn't be.
And did you apply it in the same way? Did you apply your Bamboo one the same way you applied Bamboo?
Well, we'll do it now. So I will drag Bamboo 1 in there. I'll hit save. And wait a moment. So that's wrong. Now I will apply Bamboo. Hit save. This is a bug in Unity now. There's no way this is not a bug in Unity. I mean, to be fair, I'm done. That works. I'm happy. I don't need to worry about it for the moment. They'll probably fix it. So when I duplicate the thing, I can see if I can create a new one. Because I thought it might be because of the folder it was in or something like that.
Maybe it gets cached at startup or something, and if you restart Unity now, your one will work too.
Well, let me just apply a new diffusion profile, because I have kind of worked out what it was. It was the thinness remapping. I upped it. Right, so that's wrong, but that's fine. That's not necessarily wrong. It just means I need to change. Again. It's like this one doesn't do anything. Whereas if I assign Bamboo, it does have a real-time effect. But this gets into the realms of, I ain't fixing this. This almost feels like I'm trying to fix Unity's issues. So I reassign Bamboo. Go back to the Bamboo twiddly twiddle. I can now... Oh, wait. Oh, that's Bamboo Leaves 1, right. So that's my duplicate, so that's broken.
I'm just really curious if your copy is still broken after restarting. But
that is a good thought. But now, you see, if I twiddle with the this, that does actually do stuff. So I can make it look, thicker or thinner, more or less transparent as I want. That does do real-time updates. I think you kind of have said the right thing. I think it's just pointing at some bollocks. It's not pointing at this. It's just pointing off into the blue yonder.
Yeah. Like your idea of copying the file and then loading it seems intuitively like it should work, but it's not actually. You restarting it. Okay, cool. So basically, none of the ones you created were working. That you copied in the file system.
Yeah, so I haven't tried copying at the file system. I copied them within Unity and I created a blank. I love stop. Right, so it is working on a restart. That's good. Now let's try assigning one of my ones and see if that is going to work. But I can't click twice. I have to click once, and then Bamboo Leaves 1. Broken.
Time to give up.
Yeah. I'm not going to have multiple different transparent things. Time is it? I'm kind of running out of time, but I'll see if I can actually... Now, the issue is, here's the other fun issue. None of my particle systems understand this at all. They have no clue about visual effects, but I do know I can make the effects look good. So that's fine. So I will have to quickly, or for the time being, my one, like the Unity particle system. That's fine. It's not bad. It's just obviously we understand the issue. I would like to continue to use this because I have an awful lot of support architecture that I would rather not have to rewrite. I know I have to sooner or later, but I'd rather not today.
Plus, you don't know how expensive that other one is.
I've got a fair guess, I'm afraid. So, I mean, the fact that in the HDRP profile you specified the budget for the subsurface scattering rays tells me kind of all I really need to know about how cheap it is or it isn't.
I bet you can have that really low though, because you're not doing like looking at the pores on someone's skin. You're doing smoke in a room.
Yeah, or that could just mean because it might be worse because it's bigger and you get big discontinuities. But
what's flashing? What's flashing? That looks cool.
Sparkles.
Cool.
This particular particle for some reason is very shiny. I'm not sure why. It shouldn't be. It's smoke. So under this, smoothness is at 0. 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. It's too long. But now you were asking about, so the boxes are now showing specular, like the box the particle's rendering on.
Yeah, you want to use an octagon for that.
I've never heard of octagon rendering before. It makes sense, and because fill rate is very expensive on vert count is cheap. Incidentally, that fire was very good. I did like the fire.
There must be diminishing returns though, right? Otherwise you'd use circles for circular particles.
I mean, what I used to do with the projector games renderer was use triangles for particles, because vert count was more expensive than fill count.
What do you mean it was?
The projector games particle renderer, well, I guess still is. I had a triangle option for when vert count was my limiting factor.
Yeah, but why was that? Was that because of the graphics cards at the time?
Yeah.
What's changed? Oh, right, okay.
What's changed now is you can parallelize shader stuff better than you can parallelize vert stuff. You kind of do all the vert stuff at the end of the bits. There we go. Oh yeah. So that's why the fire looks good, because it's just a right. It's just an animated texture. That's cool. We can just nick that. Ba-ba. What was it called? Flame? Shader error in... So this is the thing. It's declared in... So it... Oh, hold on. Do you know what I should have been paying attention to? It's... That could be what it is. I'm still, as I said, utterly terrified about using this in a commercial project, because this is demo territory to my mind now. Flame. It's called Flame. Now, at least with the flames, it's easy because it's additive rendering, doesn't need to be lit. Oops, wrong button. Fire. Right, so you want you to render as a large fire, and that means you will need flames. And you are rendering also, in this case, unlit particle.
The other thing is that realistic looking doesn't necessarily make for better game, because there's a stylistic choice to make. Like if your game is about putting out fire, it might be better if the fire looks more, not cartoony, but more kind of defined than real.
Yeah, I mean, mostly I want it to look cool. I mean, that's my my personal overriding factor.
Whereas I would want it to feel like you're putting it out, if that's the aim. I don't really feel that like in Ember, by the way. I don't feel that connected to the fire.
Yes. Well, the thing about in Ember, the fire was kind of an irrelevancy that you just tried to ignore while you nicked stuff. Which I said I thought was really cool, but unfortunately the novelty of that wore off quite quickly. Like, cool. I said the issue was that Max kept trying to put fires out, and I kept trying to say to him, you can't, that's not the game. But I agree that would probably be more fun than trying to nick televisions. That's not quite what I was expecting it to look like. Oh, it's a fancy shaped. Oh, how do I scale? Oh, that's an interesting question. I'm not sure if I can. I must be able to. Incidentally, I'm going to have to go in a few minutes. I hope you have enjoyed it. We are back actually in a few hours playing Dyson Sphere program. So we're doing Dyson Sphere program tonight, and we're doing Power Wash Simulator on Saturday. If you want me to do more dev streams of non-Fortress Craft stuff, do let me know, because I don't feel that people really give a shit if it's not Fortress Craft, but I might be wrong. You might just be like, please stream your crap all the time, in which case I might.
Can you just scale the gizmo like you did with the display, with the visual?
Yeah, but I try not to. Just trying to work out what the hell's going on. Oh, the flames last 50 seconds. There we go. And you don't want it to scale.
Ship it.
Pivot. Y of 1 and Y of 0.5. There we go. And it's 16 by 4. So the only thing I haven't worked out how to do is how to scale the particle. Don't really want to do.
Isn't that the size over time thing?
Yeah, but it's the fact that these particles. Oh, right, hold on. In fact, it is actually scaled like. There we go. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me have a quick look at the particle. See, I have to disappear in a moment. But got my mojo. I think it's actually 4 different particles, so I need to say animation single row mode random. That might be right. Stop scaling it. I think that is actually right. So this is the thing. This system, partly I'm good at it, but partly I can. And so I'm just scaling down that cone, and then I could make the cone longer or whatever. Like it's not quite necessarily that I understand it. I don't want to embrace new things. This is just a better system. This is just objectively better and more easy to do. Let me make the texture sheet animation loop. You want to play it? Well, in a moment. What on earth is going on? I'm not. Oh no, it is looping. Yeah, okay, there we go. And I want to then color over lifetime. Because it's that, we can fade to black. I could play with particles. I would get a job just doing particles in the old system, not the new one. I'm going to give you a 30-second rundown of what the game, and that's quite a loose term, is. The idea is it is a multiplayer game where stuff catches fire and you have to put it out, and then there is other stuff. I wanted to look shiny with fancy particle effects. It's going to be multiplayer and have VR support. So right now, and as soon as this is done, I'm going. I can set something on fire. You can see it begins to burn. It makes stuff near it get hotter. And as they get hot, they start to make other things catch fire. Now, I hadn't got as far as making the particles work because, as you understood, that was a little bit more difficult than I thought. So I will revisit this. I will probably do some work off stream as well. But yeah, if you would like me to stream all my crappy, weird prototype stuff, let me know. Capture card, guys. And I will have a look at my capture card too. If you only want me to stream Fortress Craft stuff and you just don't care about this, also let me know. But I am going to go and eat now. Just a reminder, we do stream games every night and you're always welcome to come and chat with us. What the hell? I forgot what to say. We always do nightly streams where the capture card doesn't break. I'm going to have a quick look at it after this. Getting hot. And that's the end of the stream. I will talk to you guys